Call the first case.
Okay, the first case is Mark Adams, French Show, Muscle Bar and Grill, Baltimore, trade name is Muscle Bar and Grill. This is at 1390 Lancaster Street, Class B, beer, wine, liquor, an application for a new fee with capital investment of $500,000, restaurant fixtures, facilities, seating, and a minimum of 75 people, and also a request for outdoor table service.
Enter your parents.
My name is Ed Gillis, Royston Muller, McLean and Reed, 102 West Pennsylvania Avenue, Towson, and I'm here on behalf of the Muscle Bar and Grill Baltimore LLC. With me are the two licensed applicants, Mr. Scholl and Mr. Adams.
The licensees are here.
The licensee applicants are here, that's
All right.
it.
Do you want to present testimony, or are you going to speak on behalf of your client?
I'd like to proffer, I've given each of you a notebook with some information in it, but the licensed applicants are both authorized persons of the LLC. Mr. Adams is a Baltimore City resident. Mr. Scholl is one of the investors and owners of the Restaurant Concept. The Restaurant Concept is one of, this will be the 8th restaurant. Most of them are in the D.C. area, Bethesda and D.C. You all might know Marcel's, which is one of the fine restaurants in that region. The Muscle Bar and Grill will be a fine addition to Inner Harbor East. It is located on the corner of Lancaster and Eden, directly across the little canal from the living classrooms. If you...
And how about your proof of your $500,000?
I have delivered to the executive secretary a summary of the expenses and asked if that be incorporated into the record. But the expenses total $533,000.
All right. And no testimony, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Questions, commissioners?
Just very quickly, item number 1 on your list of costs is FFA Townhouse Kitchen. What is that?
Furniture, fixtures, and equipment. A bulk of the expenditure is purchasing the equipment from the former owner or former operator in that space. It was called Townhouse Kitchen, and you may have heard it was I think a $2 million investment when the place was built out.
So they're purchasing this equipment
That's
from
correct.
Townhouse. And then so that's used equipment, and then you have item number 2 is new.
Exactly.
Brand new. Do you have any receipts for any of these purchases?
We can deliver.
Yeah, we can deliver receipts, contracts.
Who's
that?
Mr. Scholl.
You'll adopt his testimony as a part of your legal presentation. While we're hesitant here, I want to exhibit 1, all these collectively, all the exhibits including the list of expenditures. Mark it. Okay, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Just going to finish. The list is helpful, but we actually need to see the actual expenditures before the license can be issued. So we need to have the actual.
We will deliver that to the liquor board.
Any other questions? Time to vote. I vote yes. Subject
Yes.
to the production of the exhibits.
That's 2 yeses.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
All right, 3 yeses. You have our decision.
Thank you very much.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yes, sir. Sean Singh, Lisa Markowitz, Waterstone Bar and Grill, trade name Waterstone Bar and Grill. This is at 307-11 Madison Street. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor. Application for transfer of ownership and request for off-premises catering, excuse me.
I have to ask a question. What happened to you? Their bar down at the Waterstone Bar and Grill went out of business. You went out of business.
To the microphones if you're going to speak.
What's-
Oh, so good.
I don't even know who
Two
you're.
of them?
Yeah, did you come by?
Yeah,
When?
well, about a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
Well, I'm a school teacher during the day, so we open up at 5. Was it before 5?
It was.
There you have it. I was teaching.
And you have a sister with you, don't you?
No, she left 6 years ago when I came back in.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you. Next time, let me know you're coming. I'll make sure you'll cook really.
For the,
Very, very nice place.
you were there when it was Kavanaugh's.
Yeah, but you're selling?
She's selling, she's the current licensee, she's gonna stay on the license also with Sean, no, she's gonna be there helping him out.
Okay, go ahead, enter your.
All right, for the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants, and with me today is Lisa Markowitz, who's a current licensee, and she's also going to be the licensee along with Mr. Sean Singh.
So all the licensees are here.
All here, and I would proffer that they have met and talked with Mount Vernon Belvedere Association. They have a letter of approval from Mr. Steve Johnson.
What about the office, premises catering?
Yeah.
Okay on that?
Yeah, they're okay with off-premise, because they have to, it's a off-premises catering is a health department issue with, they have to have Cambros and things to be able to take food to another location.
Any opposition?
No.
Mark that exhibit one. Here's that exhibit one and that last one.
Exhibit 2 would be a letter from St. Mary's Spiritual
Well, I'm gonna
Center.
do it collectively.
Okay.
Just identify them, we'll put them all in, exhibit one.
Walters Art Museum, President Seton Hill Association.
I'm fine, sir.
Okay.
I'm fine.
And another letter from Jenny Salisbury, to the hospital.
I'm fine.
All right, collectively, exhibit one. What else, sir?
That's basically going to be the same type of operation. Ms. Marquez is going to be there along with Mr. Singer. They kind of talked everybody, and they got their approval.
All right, questions, commissioners?
Is there live entertainment attached to that?
When the live entertainment, they have live entertainment there now. Same,
Or
continue.
have it? Okay.
I don't have any questions.
No questions?
Nope.
All right, yes,
Yes.
Yes.
we have our decision.
Thank you. If I could get that.
1 second, please.
Wait,
George, you know we could have broken down for you get the opportunity to go there and eat.
it's a nice place. What are you, back up?
I represent the outgoing licensee there.
Oh. I see you now, duet here, the two of you.
Used to ask me this stuff.
All right, call the next case.
Sure. Elizabeth Rafferty, Fred Haas, Encantata, LLC, trade name Encantata, that is at 800 Key Highway. This is a Class B, beer, wine, liquor. An application for transfer of ownership, request for live entertainment, and after table.
What's yours?
Just for the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing the applicants, in this case, the current licensees are here. Two of them, and they're in favor of the transfer. The incoming licensees are here, both for them.
You have all the licensees both ways.
And the American Visionary Art Museum are here in favor. We have letters that we would submit.
What is this young lady doing here? What's her position?
She's just here to make everybody feel good. We're on TV, so it's a smile.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with it.
Are you gonna have any testimony?
Well, we
No.
don't know yet. Not so fast.
Second verse, same as the first. We'll submit a letter from the American Visionary Art Museum in favor of it. And I'm sure that you're aware, it's on the third floor of the museum, the restaurant. We also have a letter from the Covington Homeowners Association
Collectively, one.
in favor, and they're the ones that are right there on Covington Street. Mr. Haas has been involved in various different procedures, places with the Nickel Grill and so forth as a Nickel Tap House, I'm sorry, as a chef and so forth. So I think there'll be a fine addition to that area.
All right, it was found closed. What's the score on that?
Well, that we had gotten a hardship extension the other day.
Oh, that's the one.
Granted, yeah.
All right, questions, commissioners?
So I just think, because there was a finding that it was found closed on June 7, we just make very clear on the record that it was found closed June 7, 2014. There was an application or a request for a hardship extension on November 26, 2014. I don't recall the date that we heard that, but we did grant that extension, and this transfer is taking place within that 180-day period. So there's no issue with respect to this license being valid, active, and available for proper transfer.
The only question.
Any other questions?
Michelle?
I'm sorry. The only other correction that we had is that you did not hear the hardship extension because this was filed before, this was filed in January, so by the time it was filed, we couldn't have put on the hardship extension
You
for
had given
January.
the hardship, and you said we had an application pending, and we just did it in the case it wouldn't go through, we would have that covered, so we're okay.
Okay, any other questions? Vote yes.
Yes, that's easy.
Now you have our decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. 1 second, please.
All right.
It's good to see you.
Huh?
Actually, the brilliant founder, is it right to say owner? Founder. Oh, okay, founder. Founder, director, Sterling Trevor. But one of the great leaders in the art school. No way. Wow. It's become an iconic city. Congratulations. Good stuff. All right, take care.
All right, call the next case.
Everybody needs to reset.
Tracy Portilli, LLC Pro, Baltimore. This is, the trade name is Baltimore Wyndham Hotel at 612 Cathedral Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor hotel motel license. An application for transfer of ownership.
For the record, Melvin J. Kaminsky, representing the applicants. This is a transfer of the Wyndham Hotel license there on 612 Cathedral Street. It's been there forever. Mr. Smith is one of the current licensees. Tracy is the incoming licensee. There's not going to be any changes. It's going to be run as a hotel just like it was before. It's the license is there more as an accommodation for the guests that come in there. There's 104 rooms, so it'll be exactly the same as it was before.
Any questions, commissioners?
It's currently in operation. The barn has been in continuous operation, so no
I
issues.
think they're going to settle it either Friday or settle to finish it up and move this piece of the puzzle to the next piece.
What?
Any other
you sp-
questions?
Hold on, you spoke, so I need your name.
Well, he'll adopt it. Go ahead, he adopt for the record.
That's correct.
Response? All right. Any other questions? I vote yes.
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 All right, you have our decision. Thank you.
Your name, sir? Joseph, thank you.
All right, tell me when you're ready.
I will.
Jacqueline McClusker, Blaze.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay, I'm sorry.
1 second, please.
She told me something about this, and I can't remember what she told me.
Ready?
All right, call the case.
Jacqueline McClusker, Blaze LLC, Mama's on the Half Shell at 2901 O'Donnell Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor, a transfer of ownership, and a request for outdoor seating.
All right,
Good morning.
counsel?
Caroline Hecker
Enter
and-
your parents.
I beg your pardon?
Enter your parents.
Thank you. Caroline Hecker and Justin Williams, Rosenberg, Martin, Greenberg, on behalf of the applicant. We're joined by Jacqueline McCusker, the licensee applicant.
Do you have any testimony?
With your permission, I'd just like to proffer the
ahead.
testimony. This is an application, as Ms. Bailey Hedgepeth noted, to transfer ownership of the license and expand the outdoor table service on O'Donnell Street. This is for Mama's on the Half Shell, which is located on the square in Canton at Linwood Avenue and O'Donnell Street.
Maybe your licensees here?
Ms. McCusker is both the transferor and the transferee. This is, the transfer piece of this is sort of cleaning up something that occurred a few years back. In 2012, we applied to the board to expand the outdoor seating area on Linwood Avenue to add a balcony to that side of the building, and also to remove Mr. Fisher, Sean Fisher, who is one of the licensees. Ms. McCusker purchased his interest in the business, and she now owns 100% of the interest in Mama's on the Half Shell. However, Mrs. McCusker's husband passed away at the end of 2012. The balcony was never constructed, and as a result, the liquor board apparently treated the application to transfer and expand the outdoor seating as if it never happened, because the checklist was never completed and the balcony was never constructed. It was never effectuated. And so we discovered this when we filed the application that you have before you to expand the outdoor seating along O'Donnell Street. They told us that Mr. Fisher was in fact still on the license. And so we were told that this would be treated as an application to transfer the ownership, again, from Mr. Fisher and Ms. McCusker just to Ms. McCusker solely. So there's a letter in the file that Mr. Williams handed out that it's dated 2011 from Mr. Fisher, in which he resigns as the licensee and acknowledges that Mrs. McCusker has purchased his interest in the license, and she does own 100% of the business of Mamas on the Half Shell now.
All right, questions, commissioners?
This outdoor seating, has that been approved?
We went through the zoning board in December. The zoning board did approve outdoor seating as a concession to the Canton Community Association. We agreed to reduce the number of tables and seats that we were proposing on O'Donnell Street from 2 tables with 4 seats apiece to 2 tables with 2 seats apiece. In the file that Mr. Williams handed out, you'll see that there's a seating plan that shows that, as well as a letter from the Canton Community Association acknowledging that they had originally requested that we remove our seating altogether, and that we arrived at somewhat of a compromise in which we reduced the number of seats, and they are encouraged that we'll be able to work with them and avoid any type of adverse impact to them.
Let's see if I'm understanding you, because you say it a lot in that little short period of time.
I talk fast, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. But I want to make sure. The resolution from the zoning appeal say that you can have outdoor seating.
Yes, and there's a copy.
And you have an agreement with the community saying that you can have X amount of seatings outside, and all this is in agreement in this MOU?
It's all in the letter from the Canton Community Association and the zoning board.
So everybody agrees?
Everybody agrees.
Exhibit 1. Questions, any other questions?
None.
Not a comment, a question, but a comment, and it's just about my personal, I don't understand why it gets done this way, but the applications require that 3 persons certify to essentially the good standing of the applicant, and we have that, but it's you,
I've
right?
known Ms. McCusker
Carolyn
for
Pepper,
7 or 8 years, yes.
and then 2 of the attorneys from your office. And it's just always a question as to, are there no other persons other than people from your office that would attest to this?
I'm sorry, Ms. McCusker has a stellar reputation in the community for ease of simplicity in filing the application and efficiency. We've known her for many years. My partner Stanley Fein and Ben Rosenberg have known her longer than I have. We're all residents of Canton. We know her both in the neighborhood and as a client of the firm.
All right, no other questions? I vote yes.
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 All right, you have our decision.
Thank you.
I believe that's our last case.
That's it for you? Yeah,
Oh.
that's it.
Let me ask you, is anybody ready for the 1 o'clock docket right now? I guess not. Anybody ready for the 1 o'clock?
I don't think anybody.
All right, then we'll stand adjourned until 1 o'clock.
Oh, wow, that's good. I only had 1 coughing attack today.
All right, folks, hi. 1 o'clock docket, call the first case.
Yes, this is the January 29th, 2015 1 o'clock docket. I'll let Mr. Akris let me know which one he wants to take first. Do you want to take 17 West Biddle? Are they here?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll take Alexander Wolf, A&D LLC, Midtown Liquors, that's 17 West Biddle. It's a Class A violation.
I do not know if the licensee is here. We're ready, but I don't know if the licensee is here.
So-
Is Alexander Wold present? Alexander Wold.
It's funny, I don't have 7.
Are you Alexander Wold?
I'm looking for it too, Judge.
I'm sorry?
Do you have it?
I'm looking
Oh,
for
no?
it. If I have, yeah, gotta look through it. Gotta go through
It's
it.
like the 5th or 6th.
Yeah, it's
But
not.
there's 5 or 6 down.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
We don't have any of the first 5?
Oh, there it is.
No, the cadet
Oh, okay.
is over at the police
Okay, so
headquarters
we
right
have
now.
over here for 17 West Biddle?
The liquor board is ready, Your Honor, but I don't think the licensee is present.
Anybody ready for a hearing?
Yes, we're ready, Your
Okay,
Honor.
come on up. Which case do you have?
This is a cadet case, Your Honor.
Oh, we don't have the cadets. Well, the cadet is on the way.
Oh,
Yes, they heard you were, Mrs. Smith, they heard you were the lawyer, and it scared them.
Oh, they decided to stay.
They all had to go to the bathroom.
If Steve Fogelman is here, we're ready to actually go on B&O.
What about 1301?
1301.
I don't see Mr. Fogelman present.
He was outside. He came in with me. He's checking in. He's on the.
So why don't we adjourn?
Yeah, I would say just a brief recess.
All right, we'll take a short recess right here.
He's right there, he's right.
Of course, if somebody doesn't want to contest the absence.
I was just gonna,
Yeah, I'm off the record.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I said I had posed that question. I'm sorry?
I'll do an admission with you.
Okay.
Wait, but Dana's back, Dana's gone now. She'll be back.
You can do it too,
You
Henry.
do it too?
We can do it too.
If we have a
On an
quorum.
admission.
Yeah, which one's yours?
Well, it's Edmondson, 1901 Edmondson Avenue, uptown, California.
Okay. Who's gonna read the
Uptown
case
Bar?
and just let me know when to start?
Do you read it in or do you want to read it in?
I'll
So
call the
nobody
case.
can-
If you want me to call a case, I can call it right now. Calling Liquor Board versus Edmondson Group LLC, Untak Sim, and Doja Han, trading as Uptown Liquors.
Okay,
For the record,
Uptown Bar, sorry.
Jay Kanansky representing the licensee. This will be an admission as to the facts that's set out in the police report.
okay, read the facts of the record.
Your Honor, preliminarily, I'm just going to ask that the case file be moved into evidence with the police report as evidence, the only marked exhibit.
All right, police report is Exhibit 1.
I have a copy of it here, Your Honor, an extra copy just in case you'd like it.
Please submit it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, it's been agreed and stipulated that on December 18, 2014, approximately 12:47 a.m., Baltimore City Police Department conducted an underage alcohol investigation at Uptown Bar located at 1901 Edmondson Avenue in Baltimore City, Maryland. Police Cadet Jones, is that you, who is present actually right now and standing to my left, is under the age of 21, entered the establishment and purchased a 375 milliliter New Amsterdam peach vodka from the bartender store clerk, which cost approximately $8.98. Cadet Jones, using a $20 bill, marked by police, purchased the alcoholic beverage and received change from the bartender. The cadet then communicated with police, which included Sergeant Leisher, Detective Gatto, Detective Akawande, Detective Greenhill, who responded to the scene. The police entered the establishment and notified bartender store clerk that an alcoholic beverage had just been sold to a minor and would be reported to the Baltimore City Liquor Board. The police then recovered the marked currency and returned both the alcoholic beverage to the bartender and change that was provided to the cadet by the establishment. I was just handed a photocopy from Detective Gatto. This is, I'm assuming, Detective Gatto, you can confirm the copy of the marked $20 bill and identification of Cadet Jones.
Yes, it is.
All right, Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, I mean.
Your Honor, all events occurred in Baltimore City, State of Maryland. That will be Liquor Board's case.
No additions or deletions or corrections.
All right, I'd be glad to hear your case.
Yeah, basically, the licensee's been there 4 years, has had no prior alcohol. They were here a month ago, we had to do a 503, which was that the back bar wasn't open. This time the bar was open, except that the young lady who's here didn't serve. As a result of her serving, she was suspended for 2 days. She has an alcohol awareness certificate, and this thing
From
is...
the last time. From the last time.
No, it was, the last time the bar wasn't,
Yeah.
it was a 503 violation because
Yeah.
they didn't have the bar open. And I'd like to understand this, they've really went along with the community, have a resolution from the President of City Council where they participate in community events.
You got that?
Yeah, just to...
No objection.
It's a mitigation for disposition.
Where are we? First
Yeah, it's for this year.
And what does it say?
It just says they come in and they work with various community groups and for camps for children and so forth. So it's not like a place that just takes something out of the community.
Number 4. Okay, 1901.
And the survey has been admonished, and I'd like the board to take in consideration that, and it's been there 4 years for the first violation with regard to serving minors.
Okay. All right, I am persuaded that this is not the worst case we've ever had by any means. And $500 fine, in my opinion, in view of the fact that they do communicate with the neighborhood. And the prior offense was a failure to operate like a bar, which came before us. It's got a $500 fine. But don't come back anymore, sir. You're making a path to the liquor board.
I agree.
I abstain. It's like
all the evidence, so.
All right, you have our decision.
Thank you.
Call the next case.
We have
After
one
you-
ready. Hold on just 1 second. Which case are we doing?
Yeah, which one are you doing?
May I turn my back to the
Yeah,
board?
sure.
Is anybody here from Whispers? Licensee Whispers, please stand, please be told.
Address.
This is going to be 1807 to 1811 Baker Street. Calling, if I may, Liquor Board versus Old Clubhouse Incorporated, Ki Jong Lee, trading as Whispers. Thomas Akers on behalf of the Liquor Board.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Your Honor. David Wu, representing the licensee.
625.
I can't find the case.
It's six down, six down.
First one on the one bottom.
Yeah, first on the
I
docket.
apologize, first one on the afternoon docket. Number one on
Which
the,
one?
yeah, this is it.
That's
Oh,
it.
okay. All right, enter your appearance, sir.
Yeah, David Wu,
And how do you spell your last name?
WOO, representing the licensee.
All right, and are you gonna have testimony? And are
Yes,
you gonna,
I do have a testimony.
all right, where are all the witnesses?
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm, raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Go ahead, sir, present your case.
Okay, going to be first calling Detective Gatto, Baltimore City Police Department, as my first witness. Could you please state your name and duty assignment for the record?
Abraham Gatto, a member of the Vice Unit, Baltimore City PD.
And as a member of the Vice Unit, what are your responsibilities and duties?
In the liquor license operations, any establishment that has a liquor license.
Do you agree that he's an expert?
Yeah, I agree.
Admit him as an expert.
I move to have Detective Gatto noted as an expert in vice operations, particularly bar investigations.
Okay. So just directing your attention to December 18, 2014, approximately 12:05 a.m., did you have the opportunity to visit an establishment called Whispers at 1807 Baker Street?
Yes, I did.
And is that located in Baltimore City, state of Maryland?
Yes, it is.
And what was the purpose of your visit to this establishment that evening?
At this time, my unit and I were conducting a underage buy investigation on 1807 Baker Street, which is known as Whispers.
And how do you conduct an underage buy?
At this time, we would send Cadet Jones here, who is under the age of 21. We send him in with a $20 bill, which is marked. We, as you can see, this is something that we use to show the manager or the licensee that night. That way we memorialize him on a piece of paper. He goes into the establishment. On this occasion, he entered the establishment and spoke to a Troy Spivey. He asked Mr. Spivey for a new Amsterdam Peach Vodka 375 milliliter. Mr. Spivey accepted the $20 bill in exchange for the New Amsterdam vodka. At no time did Mr. Spivey ask for any form of identification from my cadet. Seeing my cadet enter the location with nothing in hand and then exiting the location with a bottle of vodka in hand,
When were you called to the scene?
I was sitting outside of the location, so I was waiting to observe my cadet exit the location.
Okay, and upon being called into the location, what, if anything, did you observe?
When I went inside the location, I immediately located Mr. Spivey, who we later identified by his name, date of birth. I recovered the $20 bill from the cash register immediately, and our unit began to explain what had occurred.
And what, if anything, I don't know if you stated it, but what, if anything, did you observe Cadet Jones have in his possession when he exited the store?
Cadet Jones had a New Amsterdam Peach Vodka 375 milliliter bottle.
And before Cadet Jones entered into the establishment, did you perform a check of his person?
Yes, indeed we did.
And did he have anything on him? Did he have any alcoholic beverages on him, particularly a New Amsterdam Peach Vodka?
No, he did not.
Okay. No further questions for this witness.
It's, I really don't have any questions for you. I do have questions for Cadet Jones.
That's coming next. If I may call my next witness, can you please state your name and duty assignment for the record?
Ken Jones, I'm a cadet with the Baltimore City Police Department.
And how long have you been a cadet?
For a year.
For a year, I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
19 years old.
And what is your date of birth?
June 15th, 1995.
Okay. And Cadet Jones, if I could just point your attention to December 18th, 2014, approximately 12:05 a.m. Did you happen to be at the establishment known as Whispers at 1807 Baker Street?
Yes, sir.
And what were you doing there?
I was going in to get a bottle of alcohol underage.
Okay. And when you arrived on the scene, if you could walk us through the process of exactly what you did. What did you do when you got to 1807 Baker Street?
I walked inside the store, asked for each Amsterdam. He asked me for my ID.
Well, hold on. So you asked him, and then what was his response?
He said, "Are you 21 years old?" So I said my birthday was. I lied and said my birthday was June 15th, 1993.
At any time did he ask you for any piece of identification?
No time.
Did you produce any kind of identification? And after you told him that you were born on, what was the date again?
June 15th, 1993.
After you told him you were born in 1993, what, if anything, did he do?
He gave me the bottle of alcohol.
And in exchange for what, if anything?
I'm sorry, can I refer to my notes?
You can refer to your notes if you'd like.
He asked me for my ID. I said 1991, but he still produced me with the bottle of alcohol.
At any time, did you produce any identification? Okay. And did you provide him with any kind of currency to purchase the, and it was marked currency, correct?
Yes.
And where was that currency? Who gave you that currency?
The police officers I was with.
Okay. And did he accept that currency?
Yes.
And he gave you that bottle of alcohol?
Yes.
And then did you leave the establishment?
Yes.
At any time, did the individual who sold you that alcohol tell you to stop or don't go anywhere or try to reconfirm your age?
No.
Okay. Moving into evidence, exhibit number 1 is a copy of the police report.
Exhibit 1. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll have that, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
And after the purchase of the alcohol, what, if anything, did police officers do that you observed?
You're so far away.
I came out the store with the alcohol. They observed that I had it in my hand. We walked back into the store. We went behind the bar and he said he did sell it to me because I walked into the store without a bottle and I came out with a bottle and change.
Can I approach the witness?
Yes.
Now showing this is going to be exhibit number 2. Could you tell me what I'm pointing to right here? What is that?
My license.
And how old does your license say that you are?
June 15th, 1995.
How old are you?
19.
Thank you. I'm showing what's marked.
Okay. And this is the $20 bill that you used, correct?
Yes.
Moving to evidence, exhibit number 2. Okay. I have no further questions for this witness.
Cross.
And, not too many questions, but first of all, Detective
Gatto.
Cato, okay. I thought you testified that he wasn't asked any questions, he wasn't asked to present any license of any kind. But are you saying you were, or it seemed like you had two different testimonies?
He asked me for my license, but I didn't show him my license. And I told him my birthday, which wasn't my birthday. The year of my birthday, which wasn't really the year of my birthday.
Okay, do you not remember Mr. Spivey here asking other questions? He didn't ask other questions relating to your age at all? Okay, well, that's all I need to ask.
Okay, go ahead. Your case?
That's our case, Your
Your
Honor.
case, that's
I would like to ask Mr. Spivey here some questions.
presenting him?
Yes.
All right, he's already been sworn. Your identification?
Yes.
Who are you?
My name is Troy Spivey. I'm
How do you spell your last name?
S-P-I-V-E-Y.
S-P-I-V-E-Y.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, just one simple question.
Yes.
You heard the testimonies of 2 police officers here.
Yes.
And do you agree with the testimonies, or do you have?
I agree to a certain extent of your questions.
Would you explain that?
Because when the officer, the cadet walked in, I did ask him 3 questions, then identifying did he have his ID. He said no. I asked him, proceeded to ask him when was his birthday and what year was he born. And I did hesitate to purchase it, to sell him the liquor. But then I took it, I said, okay, he answered the question, it's proceeded. And I also did ask him one other question, which was, did he know the time that he was born? That was a trick question to see if he would say, hold on and go and get his ID. But he didn't. So I said, okay, he's took it as him being telling truthful. I did proceeded in selling the liquor to him. And I apologize for that. Because I should have been better off knowing to stop.
I just want to present his side of the story in this case, and we do not dispute the fact that.
Wait a minute, can you finish with him?
Yes.
I've got no questions for him.
Back to you.
Yes, we do not dispute the fact that eventually he sold was it beer?
No, it was Amsterdam Peach vodka.
Okay,
Any
vodka.
other witnesses?
So, I don't have no other
That's your case.
witnesses. Yes.
All right. Nothing else in recall?
Nothing else.
Yes, just a minute. Witnesses, questions from the commissioners, if any? None?
Oh, I apologize, no questions from me.
Okay, no questions. Now, go on over, sir. This is the community speaking, okay? We can identify yourself.
Dr. Marvin Cheatham, President of Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association.
I'd be glad to hear from you, Mr. Sheehan.
Thank you. If I know that I'm coming here, normally we try to have liquor establishments closed down, but I would have to say that this one particular establishment, more than any other liquor establishment in our community, reaches out to us constantly. And I honestly believe that, yes, I think a violation did take place, but this one particular business, and we have 15 selling liquor stores in our area, but this one particular establishment, Clubhouse, communicates with us constantly. You know, we communicate back with them. I think all liquor establishments should be severely punished. We're going to try to get the law changed. So we would ask for some leniency that we know the sincerity of this particular establishment, trying to work in cooperation with our neighborhood and other neighborhoods. But we think any establishment that sells to a minor should be punished, but we would ask for some leniency. But as we said, we're not pleased with the slap on the hand that the law has with these liquor establishments. We've had 4 now in less than 1 year.
All right, now, Mr. Cheatham, I'm going to mark this down on the other side of the page because it's the first time.
Hopefully it lasts. But they've done well.
No, it's a
to
good.
this commission.
Always
They have
glad to hear.
communicated
Always
with us.
glad to hear from truthful testimony. Go ahead.
I want to make sure I heard you right. You say you suggest no leniency?
No, we suggest leniency, but what the law says that they should be penalized, and we think that they should. You know, this is not one of those community groups that hasn't paid community dues. They do community work with us, so they are the exception. I think, you know, I owe it as president to come and at least speak on their behalf.
All right, ready for anything else? I'm ready for decision. In view of Mr. Cheatham's testimony and also the frank admission of the bartender at that time, I'm going to take into consideration that $500 fine, also spend it at $250 in costs.
Because this is a first offense,
First offense, no other record.
and the community president spoke so highly of you. He doesn't do this often. And
No, he doesn't do it ever.
and I suggest very strongly, whatever you're doing, with the exception of selling to underage individuals, you keep on doing, because he seemed to be very much pleased with it. I concur.
I concur as well. Mr. Dr. Cheatham has been here a number of times since Judge Ward and I have been on this board, and he's never said, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but he hasn't said too many kindly words about the liquor establishments in his neighborhood. So this is a real rare event. For all the reasons already articulated, I do concur, and I just have to say, your instincts told you everything that you needed to know at that moment. And for whatever reason, I mean, he does have a very youthful face. He does seem to be very honest, but you didn't go with your instinct. And the only advice I would have going forward, although we're not supposed to give advice, your instincts are very seldom wrong. So for all those reasons, I concur. You as an establishment are doing what it is that we like to see and what we've encouraged others to do, and you're doing it. So thank you for that.
You have our unanimous decision, sir.
Thank you.
How many days to pay?
How much time do you need to pay?
We can pay today.
You're gonna pay now?
Yes.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Call the case.
Calling Liquor Board versus Baucus Bar and Liquors Incorporated, Hua Lee and Sion Lee, Baucus Bar and Liquor. I don't know if this has already been moved off the docket, Your Honor. I just want to make sure. If Detective Akawande, you step forward.
I have Bacchus crossed.
You have Bacchus, was Bacchus crossed off? I know that this was postponed. I just want to make sure. Bacchus?
Yes, it has been. The owner passed away.
My officer is here. I just want to know what's a date that we're going to use potentially for postponement, just in case he has vacation.
March, but it'll be a March date because of the death of licenses.
Okay. Thank you.
Call the next case.
I'm going to call you up. I'm waiting for an officer. Calling Liquor Board versus A&D LLC, Alex Wold, trading as Midtown Liquor Store. Well, we don't, Detective Greenhill is not present yet, and he's my other, he's on his way.
You're on Midtown Liquor.
Yes, I'm on Midtown Liquor. I'm sorry for jumping around. I just want.
Okay.
What's the address on Midtown?
Midtown is 17 West Biddle.
All right, go ahead, sir.
It's
How's everybody?
Okay.
So all licensees here?
Yes, I'm here.
And you are? I didn't hear what you said. W-O-L-D-E?
Yes, sir.
Okay, swear all witnesses.
Raise your right hands, please.
Swear to witnesses. Folks, come on, pay attention.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right?
First witness is going to be Mr. Inspector John Shelton.
So, strike that. Inspector John Howard. John Howard. Can you please state your name and job title for the record?
Inspector John Howard, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
How long have you been inspector?
Approximately 10 years.
Okay, and in your duties as an inspector, what is it that you do?
In my duties as an inspector, I, check, inspect the establishment, make sure that their licenses and permits are up to date, as well as to observe the establishment, making sure it's clean and safe and sanitary.
Now, did you ever have the opportunity in your discharging your duties as an inspector to visit Midtown Liquor Store, an establishment called Midtown Liquor Store at 17 West Biddle Street on January 5th, 2015?
Yes, I did.
And is that establishment located in Baltimore City, state of Maryland?
Yes, it is.
And on that date, when you went, January 5th, 2015, if you can recall, what if anything were you doing there?
Excuse me. At the request of Chief Inspector Jones, I went out and looked to inspect the building to determine if some of the items that was on a report.
What items were you looking for?
Well, he had given me some items to, look at the building, the windows, and the windows, the exterior of the building.
Mm-hmm. And what, if anything, did you discover upon your observations?
Well, upon my observation, I did, see that there were some missing brick and at the entrance of the building.
Mm-hmm. And did you notice anything else?
Well, I did notice, let me see, that, you know, the inside the building, you know, the floor tile, you know, there were some broken floor tile.
And did you, doing your preliminary investigation, did you find anything, did you check the
Corporate status or the trader's license status or any of the other things?
Yes, I did.
And what, if anything, did you find?
At that time, I did find that he did have, you know, an expired, you know, his trader's license had expired.
And what, if anything, did you do when you've made this observation?
Well, when I made the observation, I did write, you know, write up a violation. But no, I didn't at that particular time. Because, you know, Agent Foster had been in, looked and gave the licensee until the 13th, or, you know, 8 more days to obtain the his trader's license.
But it was made, but you made a notation
Yes,
at the
I
trader's
did.
license. And if I may, I'm showing you what's marked as exhibit number 1. What is this?
That's a report that I wrote.
Okay. In regards to the incident,
Yes.
correct? Okay. I'm going to be moving this as exhibit number 1 into evidence. Can I show a copy? Can I show the copy to the licensee?
Exhibit 1?
Now, you said you took some pictures, correct?
Yes, I did.
Now, I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 2. Could you please tell the board, please, what is that you're holding?
His first picture is a picture of the front door.
This is a group of pictures, correct?
Yes, it is.
You took all these pictures, correct? Or,
Yes.
and are these pictures true and accurate representations of what you observed that day?
Yes, yes, they are.
Okay, now, if you could just kind of briefly summarize, what, if anything, in terms of violations, did you notice?
Well, as I stated, you know, on the front door.
What are you looking through? What are you observing? These things that you took pictures of?
Well, these are the windows
Mm-hmm.
in and around the building. You know, the lights.
Well, you can direct his attention to any reports, official
Do you
governmental,
see any violations?
housing reports or anything else. Let's get on with it.
Okay, do you see any violations that are right here in this picture?
Me personally, no, I don't.
I'm gonna just move this into evidence, Your Honor. This is exhibit number 2.
These are all the pictures. And that, these pictures related to housing violations? on
Correct,
this
Your Honor.
property?
I'm gonna get to those in a
Okay.
second. I have my housing inspector
I'll hold
here.
this until we get
Please
to it.
hold that.
Let's go on.
I'm gonna call Agent Foster next. I have no further questions for Agent Howard.
All right, any questions,
You'd
sir,
like to
on
ask
this
any
witness?
questions?
No
No, thank you.
questions. Call the next witness.
Okay.
Calling Agent Foster to the stand. Agent Foster, could you just state your name, duty assignment for the record?
Agent Mark Foster, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
How long have you been with the Baltimore City Liquor Board as an inspector?
2007.
Okay, and as your duties of inspector, what are your responsibilities on the
In that office as an inspector?
Enforcing Article 2.
Okay. And did you have the opportunity to visit establishment known as Midtown Liquors located at 17 West Biddle Street?
Yes, sir.
And did you have the opportunity to visit that establishment on January 13, 2015?
I was there on the first occasion, January 5th, when we took the pictures.
Okay. Can I show you a report marked as exhibit number 3? Can you
Yes,
tell me
sir.
what that is?
Yes, sir.
Could you speak into the microphone, speak loudly?
It was given until January 13th, and a trader's license and alcohol awareness certificate.
Because at that time it was,
Did not have it.
did not have it.
That's correct.
And you are-
Originally had responded as a result of a 311 complaint on December 29th about a neon sign outside that was not functioning properly.
And did you, when you actually visited, the establishment on this date. Did you notice anything about that neon sign? Or was that neon sign there?
Neon sign was there,
Was it working?
wasn't lit, but
Okay.
it was daytime.
What, if any, other violations, housing violations, did you observe when you were there?
Both the housing issues and the CHAPS, the Commission for Historic and Architectural Preservation, I'm certainly not trained in those issues. I noticed a couple bricks that were missing from the lower part of the front door. The replacement windows were on the second and third floor, which weren't part of the licensed establishment.
But you did check the trader's license, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was not, it wasn't active, correct?
Did not have.
Okay. I'm going to be moving what's marked as Exhibit Number 3. This is a copy of the report made by Agent Fossler and a copy, actually, of the Maryland Business Online search showing that the trader's license is inactive.
What's that? Mark?
Exhibit Number 3.
3. Oops.
Calling Norris Turnipseed next. I have no further questions for this witness. I'll wait.
Wait a
until-
minute. Let's go on.
Hold on, Agent Fossler.
Any questions of this man?
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, yeah, next witness.
Calling Inspector Turnipseed to the stand, Your Honor. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Norris Turnipseed.
And what is it that you do, Mr. Turnipseed?
I'm a code enforcement official with the city of Baltimore, and my obligation is to enforce the building and fire-related codes of Baltimore City.
How long have you been an inspector?
For 8 years.
And are you familiar with the property located at 17 West Biddle Street?
Yes, I am.
And did you have any opportunity to perform an inspection of 17 West Biddle Street?
Yes, I have. That used to be my district, my housing district, when I first had some contact and issued a notice back in 2012, I believe it was, on this property. So, yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit Number 4. Could you please tell me what that is?
This is a violation notice that was issued on March the 22nd, 2013. It's a three-item notice, a three-item violation notice, giving the property owner 30 days to correct 3 violations. The side door, the color was painted without CHAP approval. The door was changed, the color was changed without a permit, and the commercial glass window was broke on the Maryland Avenue side of this property.
What's CHAP approval?
CHAP approval, this property is located in the Midtown Belvedere CHAP district. There are 33 CHAP districts in Baltimore City. CHAPS is an acronym that stands for the Commission of Historical and Architectural Preservation.
And is this particular building, 17 West Biddle Street, in a CHAP district?
Yes, it is.
And what is the process that a property owner has to go through if they're going to alter the exterior, particularly in this case, the windows and side door of the property?
Any changes made to a property in the CHAP district requires first of all the approval from the CHAP Commission, and also requires a permit.
Okay, and I see that you have the notice in your hand here. How was this notice provided to the property owner?
Through mail, regular mail, and certified mail, and also posting.
So it was actually taped onto the property?
That's correct.
Okay, and where did you yourself pull a copy of this violation notice?
Yes, I did.
Your Honor, if I can just ask now, I don't have to go through business records. I can just put this in if the licensee has no objection.
If he does, he'll say it.
Okay.
If you don't hear anything, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to be moving into evidence Exhibit Number 4.
Oh, so you're going to go to these pictures sooner or later?
I am. I actually have pictures here in my hand. Now, I'm showing you what's been marked.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
I'm showing you what's been marked as Exhibit Number 5. Could you tell me what these are?
You know what you're looking at? Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand it because everything, the allegation they're saying, I wasn't owner. I'm not the owner of the building. I'm the business for the liquor license and store.
You're down on the first floor.
First floor. That's what I'm focusing on. Everything, all the allegation has nothing got to do with the Midtown liquor store.
Sorry. You've seen this?
Yes.
But,
I have a copy, sir.
What are those right there?
These photos are the photo history of that that aforementioned violation notice that was issued on March the 12th, 2013.
And who took those pictures?
Various inspectors. I'm the author of that violation notice, so I did the initial inspection, but there are various inspectors that have done inspections and photos of their inspections.
Now, did you have an opportunity to recently go to the property?
Yes, I did.
When did you go to the property last?
January the 26th of this year.
And did you take any pictures?
Not of that particular violation in detail, but I did take photos of the side of the property, and my photos tells me that those violations have not been corrected.
And is 17 West Middle Street, is Midtown Liquors and the Mint Cafe all under the same block and lot?
That's true.
Now, I'm going to be showing this marked as...
Give me that question again.
Is 17, strike that. This particular property here, you see photos, the notice was issued to 17 West Middle Street, correct?
Correct.
Now that property...
Show that to make sure you see.
Now that property, does that encompass both the Mint Cafe and Midtown Liquors?
Yes, it is.
Is that one block and lot?
Yes.
What's a block and lot?
Block and lot is the official designation given to a property, and the block and lot number is there in various documents. It's on SDAT, it's on our computerized information system, and that property somewhat is known, has a Maryland Avenue address, but it still has the official block and lot and official address being 17 West Biddle.
Inspector Turner, see, you heard the operator of the licensed establishment on the first floor of the bar say that he has nothing to do with anything other than the first floor. What effect does your testimony have on what he just said?
None. None at all.
Well, explain it for the commissioner's sake. Obviously, we have a defense coming up, but they have nothing to do with the second floor and all the things that you have mentioned.
The two violations that are mentioned that's being discussed that I issued deal with the first floor liquor establishment. At 17 West Biddle, under one block and lot associated with that address at 17 West Biddle.
Okay.
And is there such an address as 1129 Maryland? Does that exist in the Department of Housing and Community Development records?
It does not.
Okay.
1129 Maryland Avenue. No record in the housing. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So how do you explain it? Where's it come from?
We see it sometimes in housing where an owner will break up portions of his property. In other words, he may have a main structure and he'll have a garage in the rear on one block and lot, one partial of property. And through, I think what happens is they go down to the post office and get a mailing address for that garage, and they'll give it an address 1129 Maryland Avenue. But however, that block and lot, that partial has an official block and lot number, only one, and only has one official address, and this one is 17 West Biddle.
That's your records.
That's our records.
Housing records.
And also SDAT.
Here's your record. Your records don't show an existence of 1129 Maryland Avenue.
Not at all.
But to be fair, that address could be used for mailing purposes only. If a location has more than 3 tenants, more than one tenant, so that tenants can get their mail, one might use the official address at 17 West Biddle Street. But for mailing purposes, one might use Maryland Avenue so that the postman, when he comes, he'll know where to drop the mail off.
Yes, that may be true, but all housing documents, SDAT, everything all of our correspondence are taken out of the Maryland State Taxation and Database, Assessment and Taxation Database, called SDAT.
I'm
sorry.
Called what?
SDAT. SDAT.
State Department of
Partner
Assessments and
Assessment
Taxation.
Taxation.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Department of, down in Annapolis.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Over on Pleasant Street. So, you know, that,
The one that gives me all these assessment increases.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
One and the same.
but all our housing correspondence triggers off of SDAT, and that partial is known as 17 Westville.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
To that point, I'm now showing you what's been marked. I think this would be exhibit number 5, I believe, or is it 6?
Which one is it?
What's SDAT?
The next number.
Just the next exhibit.
The next
Oh,
number.
sorry, number 5.
Exhibit number 5, what is that?
This is the SDAT information.
And what is that information for?
It's, it tells the size of the partial, who owns the partial, the mailing address for the owner,
And what is the address that is there located on the page?
17 West Biddle, and it also has a block and lot of 049, and the lot number is 019.
And is that the same block and lot number that 1129, or somebody, an individual claiming 1129 is located at?
That's correct.
Moving into evidence, Your Honor.
All right.
I'm now showing you what's marked as exhibit number 6. Could you tell what, tell,
Where is it?
I'm just marked it and I just handed it to him. There's exhibit number 5.
Oh, you had enough time?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
This is exhibit number 6. Could you tell me what that document is?
This is the permit history for the property located at 17 West Biddle.
And what does that permit history indicate?
Well, first it indicates that, you know, it shows all the permits that have ever been issued, I guess, in a specified period of time on this property. And what we see here now is that there are no active permits on this property.
Now, were permits ever pulled to address the notice number? I believe it was notice 9401978. We introduced it as exhibit number 1. Were permits ever pulled to address those violations?
I can't say.
Okay.
I can't say without having those particular permits to look at.
Were those violations ever abated?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
What they would require is CHAP approval, and one of my other responsibilities as being a city inspector, I'm also the CHAP inspector. So the notice supersede, meaning the approval from CHAP would be forwarded to me to, you know, for me to put in my records. The notice to proceed is saying, or is the approval for what's there, or it's an approval for modifications. And that approval it comes from the CHAP, comes from CHAP.
And a review of the records, was there any approval done by CHAP for any of the work that the licensee was doing, or the owner of the property was doing at the time to that location?
Well, the windows are still there. The frosted windows are still there at the property. The painting on the door, color has not changed, and both of those are still in violation.
And to the best of your knowledge, do you happen to know if the housing court or the housing department of Baltimore City ever took the owner-operator to court?
Yeah, a part of our process is we issue the violation notice and give the owner a time to make the corrections, and if the corrections aren't made within a specified amount of time, we issue fines, called failure to abate citations. The process is that failure to abate citations must be issued, 2 of them must be issued. So 2 failure to abate citations were issued because the owner failed to correct the problem or make the correction with or correct the violation notice. And usually they're in a period of 90 days after 60 days. So we're talking well into a 6-month period. And the owner failed to make the correction, and at a last result, we had to forward those notices to our legal department, and they've been to court on that particular notice.
And I'm just now presenting, this is just a certified copy of a judgment against the ownership at the property. in regards to violation, the violation notice that was moved into evidence earlier as exhibit.
What happened to the permanent history?
Permit history is in.
Oh, here.
All right, that's number 6.
I have it, sir.
And this is number
That's the default judgment. and
7,
it's a
the
certified
default
copy.
judgment. You've seen that.
I have that too.
Judge's signature or the stamp signature is on.
Okay.
So currently, the violation that was noted back in 2013 is still open and active
That's correct.
and has gone unabated. Now, I'm showing you now it's going to be marked as, I believe it's exhibit number 8. What is that?
This is a violation notice that was issued on November the 21st, 2014.
Who issued it?
I did.
For what property was it issued?
17 West Biddle.
Why was it issued?
I was asked to do an inspection by the Code Enforcement Task Force to take a look at this property and just to issue violation notices as I made observations.
What, if any, observations did you make, and what, if any, violations did you issue?
Side windows, multiple side windows were cracked, broken, and also boarded. And this is a CHAP district and definitely in violation of boarded and broken windows. Alcohol signage pressed up against the front window, doors on both sides of on the Maryland Avenue and also the Biddle Street side of the property. Exterior lights were installed without CHAP approval. There's a hole in the side wall with wires running through it. The front bricks missing around the base of the entrance door and peeling and fading paint around the entrance door.
And how was this notice, or how was the violation notice, how was the owner made aware of the violation notice?
We mailed the notices out through regular mail and also certified mail, and we also posted the notice on the property.
Okay, we're gonna be moving into evidence exhibit, a copy of the notice. Now, I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 9. What are these?
Wait a minute.
Obviously, you know, the address, the mailing address, the previous.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. Was it posted on the property?
Yes. This is the photo history of that violation notice that was issued on November the 19th, showing the various violations. And also it shows the photos taken through 2 subsequent inspections of the property, one in December and another inspection that recently occurred on the 26th of January.
And you had mentioned the signage before. Could you explain this exterior signage? Because it looks like it doesn't look like normal exterior signage. How is it different?
Well, alcohol signs cannot be displayed on the window. They must sit back at least 12 inches from the window. And along with that, there is excessive signage on the windows of this property.
And are you familiar with screen signage?
Yes.
Now, are these screen signs in the sense that they're screened on top of the windows? They're not on the interior of the windows, on the exterior of the windows.
They appear on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the what?
The inside, of course.
So you were heading for the exterior and didn't get what you wanted.
Actually, I could actually testify if I wanted myself, Your Honor. I don't know if I can or not. I can proffer to the court if the court would like to hear.
Can I ask the inspector a question?
Did you see what?
Can I ask the inspector a question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Does it make a difference whether it's on the outside or the inside?
No, well,
if you're within 12 inches?
12 inches.
So in other words, it's a violation if it's within 12 inches.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So whether this is inside or outside, it's a violation.
Yes, sir.
Still a violation.
Okay. Do you understand that, sir?
No, I don't understand that. That liquor store has been over 15 years. The sign has been there. All of a sudden.
You want to ask him any questions?
Yeah. That the sign has been there over 15 years, different signage. And I don't know, nobody came down and told me I can't put a sign from 12 inches and over
Yeah, and that's true. What we have done in code enforcement over the last year was step up enforcement in the business districts. And we have some issues or some violations that have been on, violations that have been on the books that we're just getting around to aggressively, enforce. That violation itself has been on the books for a long time, and you could be issued a $500 fine on the spot for that signage that's on your property. I've been instructed by my superiors to take a softer approach and issue a violation notice and making people aware, since what you're saying is exactly true. And we give you 30 days. Really, it's a 10-day violation notice for you to make the correction. We give you 30 days to make the correction with a softer approach. So you're absolutely right, and that's the reason why the 30-day notice was issued.
Okay.
And when was this 30-day notice issued, to the best of your recollection at the time?
November the 21st, 2014.
And you said you had an opportunity to go there January 26, 2015, correct?
Yes.
And how many of these 7 violations or 7 items on the violation notice, which was issued in November, how many have been abated?
None at all. I saw work that has started on 2, and that's the paint violation around the entrance door, and also the bricks at the base of the entrance door, on the wall at the base of the entrance door. Had some concerns with the correction that was in progress with the bricks. It looks like instead of putting bricks back on that wall, it looks like cement has been placed in spite of bricks. And it's of great concern once again, because we get back to the same issue that, you're not seeking the help from CHAP, and you're making a change, and you could be fined $500 for that type of action also. So you're still not asking for CHAP guidance. The color paint, didn't pay too much detail to it, but there are 20 shades of white paint, and everything is so detailed in the CHAP districts that a lot of time, it's in the best interest to get CHAP approval up first, and so you won't have to ask for forgiveness later on. So we got two items in progress, but none has been abated.
It has been more than 30 days since the notice was issued.
That's true.
I'm lastly showing what's marked as exhibit number 10. Could you tell the board what that is?
This is the permit history for the property at 17 West Biddle.
What history?
Permit history.
And particularly for this particular violation notice, correct? The violation notice 1172388A.
There are no permits been pulled for any of the corrections that were on the violation notice. And I'm not quite sure whether you would need one for the repair of the stones, but replacing a broken window. There are some items, the lights, you would need a notice to proceed and approval. So there are some items that would require a permit to correct that violation notice that was issued in November the 21st.
But you already testified that nothing was done anyway, except for the bricks might have been covered with cement. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, now you have a right to ask questions of all the witnesses.
Yeah.
You go ahead. Now, this is not your time to testify.
Okay.
Or explain your position.
Okay.
This is your time to ask questions only. Do you have any questions of this witness or any other witness?
No.
No questions? No questions. All right. Anything else in your case?
I would like to dismiss, I think, count 4. I should have done it preliminarily. I'm dismissing count 4, the sanitation and safety. But counts 1, 2, and 3.
As the author of CHAP ordinance. Did you know that, Mr. Turnipseed?
What's that, sir?
I'm the author of the CHAP ordinance.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's fine. And now we've got them on Lemon Street. Now, this account for was sanitation and safety.
Correct, Your Honor.
Dismissed.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
So that leaves 1, 2, and 3.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Now, you're finished with your side. I'm going to let the commissioners ask questions because this case is so complicated. So I'm going to stop at this point. All right, commissioners, questions? Any questions?
No.
Any questions?
He did a good job of it.
No.
All right, now, you have no other witnesses? You're,
I have no other fact witnesses. I have representatives from the community who would like to
that's your
speak.
punishment only.
On punishment only,
Okay,
Your
we'll
Honor.
get to that secondly.
I just have one, and just needing a little help. There are a lot of violations, they all go to the building, some seem to go to the location of the liquor store, but can you just help me understand how this licensee is responsible for the violations? He doesn't own the building, as I'm understanding it, but he does have a business located in the building. How do we impose a penalty on him as a licensee when he's not the owner of the building?
Well, may I just amend your question?
Yes, you may. I've never would argue with you, Your
Well,
Honor.
some of the violations are to the licensed
Some
premises,
are,
and some are not.
and some are not.
And your question really goes to the ones that are not.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, excuse me, go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, I guess it's like.
And I have the same question.
I guess it's like eating fish. The notice always goes to the property owner, and then the owner says, well, hey, if it's the operator of the establishment in the commercial space, if he's in violation, then it's up to the operator of the business to make the correction. I don't know what type of relationship, and the city doesn't get involved in that to split the property up and say, well, this goes to this person, this one goes to that one. This property is also a multifamily dwelling. So
Well,
we.
is this licensee the same owner as the apartments and the other parts of the property? Or is he
Yes.
just a renter?
Yeah, he's just a renter, but I
He
mean,
rents.
once again, the violation notice goes to the property owner.
And I did see that this licensee did apply, I mean, his name does appear on Exhibit 6 several times for exterior work, removing and installing. He did pull some permits dealing with the awning, permit to use the first floor liquor store. So, I mean, when we come time for decision, should we just focus on those violations that relate to the liquor store? Or,
This has been an issue ever since 2000, ever since my first encounter with this property. I've never spoke to the owner. The owner was in bad health, or else the owner was deceased. And we did get, this property has been to court, over in housing court. And I don't know who showed up, I don't know if anyone showed up, but a consent agreement was reached and some work was done. So, it's hard to find that particular person who's responsible and throughout my entire, contact with this property. So, I just issued to the property owner and we, everybody that's associated with the property, and we name them all, the resident agent for the LLC, the responsible member of the LLC, and we just move on from there. But folks are not coming forward.
And then force me to ask one question, then I'm gonna let you go. My question is, when this case went to housing court, was the gentleman to my left name on any of their documents that went to housing court?
I don't know his name, and I don't have that record with me.
Who would be responsible for the property? The owner is the responsible person for the property, is that correct?
That's right.
And he can have an agent who represents him, can stand in his place if necessary, is that correct? Or in the officers, if it's a corporation?
That's right.
So,
If you choose to.
okay, right. So if he's not an agent, a resident agent, in your professional opinion, would he be responsible for any of the corrections at their property, whether it be at the liquor store or any other location in that building?
No, he's not held responsible, but the owner is.
Okay, thank you.
But he would be responsible for the
The
violations.
liquor store
Liquor
violations,
store
yes.
Yeah, that go to the inside, because.
You'd be responsible for liquor store violations. I legally hold that. When you operate a bar, you're responsible for everything inside your establishment and also in the periphery of the establishment, period. The question, it seems to me, is the only question as to who's responsible for the second floor and the rest of the building. And unless I want to hear from you, before we go to his defense, as to whether or not you're holding out that he's responsible, this licensee of the first floor liquor establishment, I'm pointing to the licensee, is responsible for the violations of the CHAP code on the second floor.
Not on the second floor, but for the windows and the issues that are on the liquor store and associated with liquor
And
store.
they
That's
also-
why he's here today.
And also the signage.
And also the signage. The things that are on
You
the
understand
second
that, sir?
floor, the
Yes, sir.
things that are outside of the liquor store are not applicable. But I couldn't charge this item by item in the notice violation, because there are only 2 violations and they're under 2 separate notice numbers. And I couldn't say violation 1, 2, 3, item A. It's just that notice number that I named it. So.
Well, it'd be nice to say the liquor board has the right to clean up the neighborhood problems with respect to inspections, because we have an absolute right of closure and other very strong punishments. But I don't think it applies to the second floor in this case.
No, and Your Honor, I am just focused solely on the signage issues, the light issues, the window issues, the CHAP issues dealing with the liquor store itself.
All right. Now, you finished your case? And you have no other questions, is that right?
No further.
All right, I'd like to say, Ms. Turnipseed, your testimony is always a pleasure to have you come down here. You're clear and you know what you're doing. And I so find, with respect to my own views of your testimony. Now, you have the right
Good job.
to present your case.
Yeah, the
Name-
property.
First of all, for the record, your name.
Alexander Morgan.
And you are the licensee.
I'm the licensee in 17th Street.
And how long have you been there?
About 12 years.
And are you open now or closed?
We open today.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Tell us your story.
Yeah, in terms of the property being owned by different owners, and he's deceased about 8 months ago. And we understand, we notice about no tenants upstairs, there's multiple dwelling, and there is a problem with the property. We're not responsible. We were responsible for the liquor store, 17 West Biddle Street, which is, the brickwork has been done and the windows been changed.
Well, he said the brickwork has got smeared over.
It's very small, Your Honor, it's very small. It's only can put one brick and stuff. So right now, what we try to do is to cooperate with the community, what it needs to be done, because we took over the property, and this year we going to be responsible for the property. So this is a.
Now, this is, what you've handed me is what?
We purchasing the property
This is
because it
your,
was foreclosure.
your purchase agreement?
Yes.
And why are you handing this to me?
I mean, I'm just trying to show you the.
To show you that you're now the owner?
Yes.
But you've been the owner for 8 months. Is that right?
8 months. I haven't quite the whole process finished, but we're in the process taking over because the property
how
went to the property went to foreclosure.
For how long? I can't hear you.
For how long?
Yes.
I don't
How long
understand.
have you been in charge?
The past 8 months.
Past 8 months. That's what I
Yes.
thought you said.
Have you had a settlement date on your purchase?
Not quite, not yet. It's got a lot of legal issues behind the property between the
So
wife and
legally,
the
you
family.
don't own the property yet?
Legally, not.
But you're running the bar.
Running the
And
bar.
you're the licensee.
For the bar.
vicarious of the prior owner.
Yes, sir.
All right, now what else do you want to tell us?
The window, we've been changed it, and I don't know about the signage, so we're gonna incorporate that, the signage. But we changed the window, the crack window has been changed. And anytime if somebody broken and throw stone on the glass of front door, I don't think you need a permit. If I need a permit, I would have pulled a permit. But the window's been changed.
May I have those pictures, please? Yeah, the others.
These.
sir, these pictures here that I'm gonna hand you to look at show your bar and so forth, and if I may add, they're a mess. And the neighborhood is upset, it looks to me like, the way you handled your advertising. Look at here. Not paying attention to what they're trying to get across to you. This is a historic district in the Mount Vernon Historic District. And you're running a place that's not up to the standards of the rest of the properties.
In terms
What
of
do you have
that,
to say about my question? You agree with me or disagree?
I agree with you. We're gonna cooperate it. The signage maybe might be too big and all that. That signage has been there over 15 years something. We didn't know it was a problem. Now if it's a problem, it's only signage, we change it, and we don't have any problem with that. We're gonna cooperate.
So what are you gonna do about this?
We're gonna correct it, and then we're gonna make it look
When?
good. Starting tomorrow, if you want to do it.
Gotta get a permit.
For removing the signage?
Well, not the window, no. But you have to get a permit for the brick, which has been testified to as unsatisfactory, and other things which have to be done to turn that property, including the paint and the various door problems, which,
We're gonna do that. We're gonna cooperate with the community. Actually, he's my neighbor, so it would be easy if I could work with that.
well, maybe we better go to that and see what the neighborhood wants to say.
May I?
Let me make one correction. Yes, you do need a permit for the replacement of the glass.
Oh, I don't know, but it's been replaced. The same, it's not the same company who changed it before it's been broke, and they came back and replaced it.
Any other questions, Commissioners? All right, any other witnesses?
Well, I think Madam Commissioner had a question, Your Honor.
I don't know if it's a question, more of an observation. How long have you been running the liquor store?
12 years.
12 years. All right, so that's, if I might, that's long enough to know what the community expects.
Oh.
So just hear me for a minute. You've got to figure it out, and you've got to figure it out really, really fast, because based on what's been presented, there are penalties that you're risking, you're exposing your business to. You've got to figure it out, and it has to happen very, very, very quickly. You are in a district that has very specific rules. I mean, it might seem silly. I mean, I live in a house that has a door that's purple, pink, and green. We like it. Nobody else cares. We don't have any regulations. Your store is in a place that is offended by a blue door. So you've got to figure that out.
Right now, since we're in the process of owning the building, of course, we're gonna invest on the property, but first, we had a problem with the owner, in terms of making investment.
But now it's been 8 months. It's been 8 months, and you've
It's,
been, whoa.
Okay.
You've been the guy in charge for 8 months. Enough said.
I'm sorry. No, it's not enough yet.
He said
For
he's been managed.
for you to make the statement that you didn't know about these concerns,
No, I didn't say that. We know.
because when you buy a property, you look at all the liens, and the violation notice appears as a lien against your property. So if you a good business person, at least you can do is look at the liens and find out what they are.
Yes, my
So
attorney is in the
that's-
process of doing that.
So you fully aware of what was expected of you when you become the owner of this property.
Yes, sir.
All right, I think, and now I'm gonna rule on the responsibility. He's dropped the count 4, so we have count 1, illegal conduct. And the only violations that I find you responsible for are the violations that apply to your liquor establishment on the first floor, of which there are 10 in the first count. We wipe out all the others and apply it to that. With respect to alterations, the same thing. Lights on frosted windows and so forth, the count is abated as to accept the matters that apply to your liquor store. I find you responsible for that. The final one, I don't know the answer to it. He lacked a valid trader's license. Does he have a license?
Your Honor, at the time, there was a piece of evidence I submitted which had his trader's license. I don't know when you got this trader's license. When did you get this?
Yesterday.
Did he have a trader's
Yes,
license?
Yeah, we have it.
At the time of the incident, he didn't have a trader's license. He just got this yesterday.
He's got it now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll dismiss that. Now, with respect to what we do with respect to punishment, all the commissioners are involved. And I'm going to ask you, sir, which is unusual, what you recommend in this case.
Your Honor, if I just may take a look at the record.
Yeah.
The licensee has a record stemming back to 2008. He states that he's been operating this business for the last 12 years. In 2008, he had a sale to minors, illegal conduct, failure to display a license, was fined $800. 2009, he had a paid in lieu of a hearing. Again, 2010, paid in lieu of a hearing. In 2012, there was illegal conduct, and the licensee failed to appear for that matter. Actually, his license was seized at the time, Your Honor. Being that this is not his first offense and there are 2 violations which he's been convicted of, Your Honor, I would recommend a fine, Your Honor, of approximately $1,500, Your Honor, if you want to parse it between the 2. No suspension.
All right, sir, what do you have to say about that?
That's not fair. I don't know why I get.
Can you say that again?
That's not fair. I don't know why. First of all, I never got the license. Never suspended. I don't know where he got his phone. I don't have that record. I know the minor. The minor is the only one I know, but the rest, none of those are record.
So you say that you've never had your license suspended. You did have the minor violation.
Yes.
All right, so what do you think the proper fine is?
I shouldn't give a fine at this time, Your Honor. I correct the problem, and in terms of the violation of housing, I can go back to with the housing in the community. I can make the corrections.
Members from the community still want to speak.
Oh, I want to hear from them. Yes, I didn't know that. Bring them up.
And then in terms of, Your Honor, can I speak?
Yes.
The previous work has been done on that property. They pulled permit out.
Back up a little bit, please. Hear the mic's blowing up.
Sorry.
Now, you're handing me a permit for what?
That's for the property needs to be
Okay.
worked on.
That's for your licensed establishment.
No, that's for the building. I don't have to, you might want to have it for the workers.
The owner has gotten a permit?
And that's again the issue of 1129 West Madison that doesn't really exist, Your Honor.
So.
But it's not his responsibility, right?
Your Honor, yes, unless he's going to admit that he runs the Mid Cafe too.
Well, I think we have to have more evidence that we're not in the business of enforcing the housing code.
Understand.
Unless it applies to the bar.
Understand.
All right, sir, I'll be glad to hear from your name.
My name is David Plaker. I live at 15 West Middle Street.
And your position in this case?
I'm the neighbor. I'm one of the people that, that were complaining about his property.
All right, and what do you want us to do?
Well, first I just want to say that, I don't object to living next door to a liquor store. What I object to is living next to a liquor store that doesn't necessarily follow Baltimore City Code as well as follow the chow.
It's a dump. Looks like
It is a dump. And, I tried, when I placed in the market last year, people, they didn't like it. They wouldn't buy it. They looked past it. They got scared. And, he owns a hookah bar that's right next door. So that stays open till 3 in the morning. So it's crazy out there. So, but this morning, I just want to pass these pictures out to show you what it looks like. And that's this morning. And these are ads on here. And Baltimore, Maryland law is very clear under 2B, under the advertisement restrictions, granting the authority with you guys for Baltimore City to pass specific to Baltimore City. And then Baltimore City government, they passed the alcohol beverage signing restrictions. And he just, missing that out. No, those are the same. And then this is what the front looks like. Also on all sides.
Are these all the same?
No, these are a little different. The same kind of liquor stores. And this is another section where he has it all blocked off. And I went 3 blocks.
What is your point on these pictures?
My point is, look, this is evidence that this guy is continually violating it. What I would like the liquor board to do is to give him 30 days to clean it up or suspend his liquor license.
Clean up the front of the building.
That's right.
We're bringing it in compliance.
That's right.
But it has nothing to do with the hookah bar.
No.
All right, so what else do you wish to say?
That's it.
All right, you want to ask him any questions?
No, I'm gonna cooperate with them. They apparently they don't like the sign. We're gonna remove the signage and whatever
Do you
they
know
would
who he
like to
is?
do. I know that actually he's my customer. I don't know if the past couple of days he might not stop. Actually, he's my good friend. We say hi every day.
He says he's not your customer.
Right now, I'm surprised seeing him, which is good. It's gonna help me so I can communicate with him much better.
Okay,
He
you wanna
might
see
be
these
your
pictures,
customer
or-
if you fix
You wanna see the
everything.
pictures?
No, he's been my customer for years, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna communicate more better as the community, as the neighbor, and other friends.
Okay. All right, sir, I'll be glad to hear from you. Your name?
Steve Johnson, Chair of the Liquor Committee of Mount Vernon Belvedere Association.
You've
Good
been here
afternoon,
before.
Mr. Chairman.
Welcome back, and what do you have to say, sir?
Just a few comments, if I may, and one question. MVBA, of course, through its Architectural Review Committee, often reviews all the buildings in our neighborhood for architectural adherence.
Tap areas have,
And most of these code violations we actually instituted.
I'm sure.
And on that. So, the second point I'd like to make is that a license is a privilege, it's not a right. And a license is subject. Is subject to obeying all the applicable rules and laws, including
Absolutely.
housing code, because what they don't do correctly has a serious impact on the neighborhood in some way, form, or
Well,
fashion.
I'm sure this board, I speak for all three commissioners, that we agree with you.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that I think we also are saying, I think, that we can't enforce the second floor.
We agree.
It belongs to the apartment house. Maybe the whole building's a dump, I don't know, but from what I've seen in the pictures, the bar is a problem. Now, he's agreed to cooperate with you. Right now, I just heard him say it.
Mhm.
Do you have any plans of getting together with him, and with respect to the violations and so forth?
We're happy to get together with them. We don't have any plans at the moment because this is just all surfacing. We'll be happy to do that.
All right, do you understand that when you leave this room today, you get their names and talk to them?
Definitely, Your Honor.
Because what'll happen is, no matter what we do for punishment, we're gonna come back and look to see if you did it.
I'm gonna correct it.
And if you didn't do it, it'll be worse the next time. Because we're gonna leave you open, but we're gonna find you.
Mr. Chairman, just one other question, if I may. Does anybody know what the Class A license covers in terms of the premises, the block and lot, since they're all one building?
The premises of a bar under CHAP regulations are controlled by CHAP regulations, the exterior, not by necessarily the liquor board regulations, yes, but also by CHAP regulations, which applies to color, appearance, broken windows, improper anything, and so forth. The general appearance, the idea of CHAP regulations is to maintain the historic integrity of the area. The idea of the liquor board regulations is to do what the liquor board has said are their regulations and you're supposed to follow them. Here we have violations of both.
Perhaps I stated the question incorrectly, but the Class A license, what portion of that total block and lot number does it actually cover? Is it the front of the building?
The
In other
entire
words,
area used for the sale of alcohol.
is it stated that way in the permit? You know, a lot of permits say the front of the building, some of them are
Any place
inherent.
he has storage or any place, anything he uses for the part of his business on the
Trying to
first
figure
floor.
out whether the mint is included in that property.
Hmm?
Whether the mint is included under that license.
Whether the what?
The cafe mint, the hookah bar, would be included under the definition of their Class A license.
No. He's talking.
I think you may have a separate problem with the hookah bar, and I'm not gonna decide it today. So you can take it up with our enforcement division. Our number 2 man is an attorney who's in charge of that, and discuss it in the future. You can take it up with the owner, and if necessary, bring it back before us. But today, you're here on the other charges.
Just trying to get the license
All right,
definition.
now I'm ready for decision. I think.
Thank you.
$1,000 total.
Your Honor, it's not, we don't even have the money. If you want me to.
Going to
go
give you
ahead.
time to pay it. How much time do you need?
No, it's not the timing, you know. There are things we didn't know, we wasn't aware of about in terms of needs to be painted and all that, so it's not fair.
Well, that's my decision, and that's what I decide, and other commissioners may have a different view. So $1,000 with respect to divided, $500 on 4.18 illegal conduct, and $500 on 4.20B each. Total $1,000. How much time do you need to pay it?
Your Honor, to
2 months?
to be honest with you, it's too much, one, and
2 months. 2 months to pay. All right, other commissioners?
Well, I agree, and I think it could be a lot worse. And the reason I think it could be worse is because of the history of prior violations, several of which, or 2 of which were dealt with administratively. But you're in violation of laws that are very, very clear, and it's very, very helpful that you're saying that you want to work with the community. It's helpful that you're here and you're saying that today, but that's something that probably should have been done months ago, could have been done months ago. Some of these violations are as simple as going back to that store right now and taking those signs, those paper signs, out of the window. That is very easy to do. It should have been done even before you came here. That would have been helpful. So you are in control, and you can make these changes. And well, on the one hand, you say you don't know anything, but you've been in business for, I think, 12
years.
12 years. And I tease my kids with this all the time. I said, don't go Butterfly McQueen on me, saying that you don't know nothing about birth and no babies. You don't know nothing about nothing. You know everything about everything. You're in control. You can fix it. You need to fix it. You know, you can take your hand and you can pull those signs out of the window right now. Will cost you nothing.
My decision isn't based on the structural defects on the property. It's based on the way you run the establishment, the liquor bar. It's the way you run it. 12 years of being responsible for the establishment, and you could tell us that you didn't know. Owning a liquor license is a privilege, and you should act accordingly. That comes a responsibility and duty to understand how you're supposed to operate that business. And you haven't encouraged me at all. I mean, 1,000 to me was a little light. I wish I had was the first person to speak, because I would have closed you down also. And I'm just disappointed that you can sit there and keep in mind, we're not finished yet, because that hookah bar next door, you know, your liquor license and the place that you have your business has what is called a permit, a use permit. And that use permit identifies exactly where you can have your liquor establishment. If you've taken the privilege to extend beyond the boundaries and it comes back to us, you're not going to like me. I can assure you of that. I agree to $1,000.
All right, sir, you have our decision now. You go down and make arrangements with Ms. Michelle, and also talk to the 2 people from the community and do what you're supposed to do. Let's not see you again.
I would just add, and I mean, we're done, but the 2 failures to appear suggest like a not strong regard for the liquor board.
Okay.
You understand that, right? And you made some promises today in terms of working with the community. This is a different liquor board. We will be looking to see that all the promises that you've made today are met. Okay?
Okay, folks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wold.
Let me know when you're ready. Can I get going, folks?
All of this goes to Michelle, right?
Right.
As soon as everyone gets out of the area.
All right, everyone needs to, Mr. Wold, can you take your papers and move them down to the right?
Calling liquor board. Calling liquor board
Wait a
versus.
minute. When he's ready.
She gave me a thumbs up.
You did? Okay.
Calling liquor board versus ACA Liquors Incorporated. We own Wook On and Patrick Min, trading as Eric 500. I'm Sackers on behalf of the liquor board.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Edward Smith Jr.
Finally
appearing
got
on
up here,
behalf of
Mr.
the
Smith.
respondent. Yes, Your Honor, and it's always a pleasure. Would you please go? Oh, yes. Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
You want to hear that first?
Your Honor, I think you've already ruled on it. This
I
is
have.
just a formal motion to put it in the file.
Put in the record?
Yes, Your Honor, just to
Okay,
put it
we'll
in
do
the
that.
record. I don't need
And I
to.
ruled for the, everybody knows I denied.
Everybody knows that, which is why we appeared, Your Honor.
Right, thank you.
Yes, and I do appreciate not your denial, but certainly your recognition of the fact that it's going into the
All
record.
right, now we're ready to proceed. Are you admitting anything or just ready, you want him to produce his facts?
Well, Your Honor, I do have a motion for appropriate relief, which is the second paper in your packet.
I was just handed this too.
Okay, what is it say?
Just to be brief about it, Your Honor, it's a preliminary motion to request that the licensee have a court interpreter. Mr. An is Korean, but he is in the country legally, and consequently, there is a provision under the law which would allow a Korean interpreter to.
Is he the licensee?
He is, Your Honor.
Huh?
He is, Your Honor.
Yes, and he does not.
He does not, Your Honor.
All right, is anybody in the courtroom who speaks what?
Korean, but
Korean.
you can't, yes, Your Honor, I believe that under the rules which you, for
Of
a
the
long
Circuit Court
time.
of Baltimore
Yes,
City.
for a long time,
We're
under
down here.
16.812.
Yeah.
And under the Equal Protection Law, and obviously under the ADA, he would have to have a certified court report.
That's true in the circuit court, but we're down here in a community, atmosphere, and I am ruling now that if I can find an interpreter, it will be sufficient. Now, do we have anybody in here that speaks Korean?
Well, no. Hold it. Your Honor, I understand that this is posse commoditas. Posse commoditas is a.
That sounds like a really dirty
That's
word.
Ed
What are you
Smith.
saying?
No, posse commoditas is a is a term of art which was used in colonial times.
Just tell me what it means.
Oh, it means to gather a posse for purposes of.
Jeez, Ed.
Well, I'm only giving you.
Ed, have you been
Wait a minute, folks, call the person up.
He was standing in the back. He raised his hand, Your Honor. Gentleman in the blue shirt.
Come up, sir.
Yes?
He's a citizen. He doesn't have any responsibility to come up here.
I'm asking him to come up.
He's a citizen of the United States and has no right. You have no right to enforce his coming up
Well,
here.
we haven't done anything yet. Come on up, sir.
He's not. He doesn't have an obligation to come up, Your Honor, in all due respect.
No, but he's
Being a citizen of the United States.
Where is he?
Sitting back there, Your Honor, in the blue
Ask
shirt.
him to come up.
I asked him to come up. He's not moving, Your Honor.
Where is he? I can't see. Ed's in the way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
The gentleman in the blue, Your Honor, sitting down now.
Sir, do you want to come up or answer my call or not? We're not, okay. That settles that. And they don't have anybody else? All right, then I'll have to postpone it 1 week, and I'm gonna obligate you to get the translator if you want to go forward. Period. That's my decision. Sorry,
Your
postponement 1 week.
Your Honor, may I
And
object to
certainly,
that?
always glad to hear from you.
Yes,
Mr.
right.
Smith, I'm telling you, get the translator.
Your Honor, I hear what you're saying, but that is obviously not a responsibility that I would have at the circuit court level under 16.812.
No, I agree with you, that we're not at the circuit court level.
But the reason for the rule itself, Your Honor, is a federal rule which requires, under the Equal Protection Clause, when we have citizens who cannot speak English, requires the administrative body or the circuit court to provide a translator.
All right, now let me tell you this, Mr. Smith. This is a community board to enforce the legal laws of Baltimore City.
No, it's a
And
state board, Your Honor.
It's a state board with also, as a charter, as a city of Baltimore being a charter organization, our code is enforced except when it conflicts with state code. The fact that he has a liquor license in Baltimore City, he has to comply with the city as well as the state code.
I would
And he
agree.
obligates himself to do business in our city and to understand our laws and so forth. If he does not come in here prepared for trial to answer charges or problems or whatever reason he comes before the board, he's in violation of his right to have a license to do business in the city of Baltimore, period. And I'm going to take his license away if he comes back in here without without a translator, so that we go forward with this hearing. And if you think I'm not gonna do it, try me.
Your Honor, may I ask you
Yes.
to recuse yourself based on violation of the Constitution of the United States?
Sure.
Because he has a language deficiency as it relates to English. That does not mean that he does not understand in his own language what his obligations are. To make that statement pretends, under the circumstances, because he cannot speak English, then his license should be at stake. That is not something that a state institution can sign on to.
And
it
city.
is- right. Your Honor, I only know that 2B is a state enactment, and whatever part that the city has in it, that's fine.
We've discussed
But-
this before,
Yes,
I
we
know,
have
you and
discussed
I.
it. Yes, Your Honor.
And,
But 2B is still, and this is still a state agency. State action cannot be taken against a person who is foreign-born and who does not understand English. And therefore, Your Honor, I would have to ask you most respectfully, and you know I have all of the respect in the world for you, but we go back, how many years?
Don't tell.
44 years or more. And you know how I feel about you personally. However, this is a matter of law, as you yourself have administered on the bench in your illustrious career, and therefore I must ask you to recuse yourself at this point based on what you have said, and I will get a transcript of that before we come back. But nevertheless, that's my position. I appreciate your journeying this in order for a translator to be here, and I would suggest that and would hope that the state of Maryland would find it within itself to get that. Thank
Okay,
you.
now,
Your
let me just repeat it, so that he understands.
Well, he
in order-
doesn't
in
understand,
order-
that's the point.
Okay, well, then you'll have to give him sign language or something, because in order to do business in Baltimore City, a licensee must be able to comply with the laws of Baltimore City liquor laws as well as the state.
But he has a translator.
And the fact that he tries to hide behind what I now call the global language of English, because that's what it is, a global language, and it's certainly the language that we apply here before the Baltimore City Liquor Board. That's what we are, commissioners of the Liquor Board. That I'm telling you that next week when he comes in, under his postponement, which I don't have to give him, but I'm going to this time only, that he would have a means of understanding the proceedings before this board. And if he doesn't, then I'm going to take his license away from him.
I hear you, and I understand you, and of course, Your Honor, in all due respect, I disagree with you, and I stated my basis for disagreeing with you. I stated my motion to recuse you and anyone who has a similar attitude with respect to foreign-born individuals who cannot speak English.
I have a question. What is this gentleman's name? Is he Mr. Wook? Mr. Wook?
He is not, Your Honor.
Is it Patrick Min?
He is, Your Honor.
And then Leon Wook? On was here previously.
This is Mr. On, excuse me.
Okay, all right, so just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Before us today is Beyond Wook On.
On.
All right? We have had a matter in August of 2014 regarding this licensee, and I don't think that you appeared.
I did not.
But the licensee did appear. I don't, maybe it was Patrick Min, maybe it was Beyond Wook On, I'm not sure. But we did go forward. We did have someone from the audience come forward and translate. We've done that fairly consistently since I've been on this board, and we've had no problems whatsoever. But I just, does Patrick Min speak English? Neither one of the licensees speaks English.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so you might want to just figure that out. But
Yes,
I'm just
Your
saying, we did go forward, we did find violations, we had no problems at all with understanding.
He did not have counsel as well.
But he also had language facility apparently, so I don't know what happened, but he had counsel.
He did have
He was here
counsel.
with an attorney, yes,
Okay.
yes, sir, yes, sir. So, all the, I hear what you're saying, I do disagree. And also, we got the motion for appropriate relief, when was that filed with the board? Was that today?
That was filed today. I
Okay.
was in contact with your executive secretary by way of
Telephone?
email.
Email?
And,
All right.
yes, and also the deputy as well. We had a conversation. However, and the motion for appropriate relief was based on the FMLA and the other attorney. I felt that I had a conflict.
What is the FMLA issue? Language?
No, ma'am. It's, the FMLA is Family Medical Leave Act. She is pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant, was admitted to the hospital. And this is what I think. Her name is Carrie Campbell. She was admitted to Sinai because of a problem with her pregnancy. I asked for a postponement. She is the attorney who was going to represent the licensee. The only reason that I'm here was because she could not make it.
So my question is, where is the request for a translator?
It's in my motion.
For postponement?
Yes, it is.
So when was the motion for postponement
It was filed today.
Today?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I'm going to do, because I want to understand what our obligation is.
Sure.
My understanding is that a request for translator needs to be filed 10 days prior to the meeting.
That's under 16.812.
So this is, filing it today does not meet the requirements of 16.812. And I'm not saying that 16.812 even applies.
Right.
Because we're not in the circuit court
Right.
for Baltimore City.
That's right.
But we're not doing menu. This is not like, Catholic by menu. It's an administrative hearing, it's a community board, and it's hard when we say some parts of 16.812 apply, which is what you're saying, and
No.
other parts don't.
There's
We just need to get clarity.
Right, there's no.
But under any calculation, if there's a 10-day requirement, filing it today doesn't mean
There is no
that.
10-day requirement under 16.812.
But I thought you just said that there was.
It's under the court rules, there's a 10-day requirement.
Okay.
That is a circuit court rule
Okay,
from
we're
the
not in the
administrative agency. It is
All right,
not
so-
in 16.812. 16.812, which I have appended to, which is on this motion, and the reference there too, only talks about a certified court interpreter.
So I guess we'll deal with it next week, because it doesn't make sense to me to even talk about 16.812 since we're not in the circuit court for Baltimore City.
Nor the 10 days.
Right.
Okay, folks, you're all excused next week.
Thank you.
Now, the officers, are you okay for next week?
Oh, yes, sir.
Everybody, on your prosecution? All right.
Off the record.
Hold up, courts and,
Off the record on that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just making sure. Give me 2 seconds to, you guys stay down real long.
Yes, I put in 3 copies for the commissioners and 1
Yeah, I have
for
a
the
How's our docket next Monday?
Well, that's what I would like to add, is that the docket has been set for next week, that I'm setting the 12th, and it would also give me an opportunity to make sure that they are served with a 10-day notice as well, reserved.
No, that's not my question. How many cases have you got in the morning? Maybe Mr. Smith would like to get here and get it over with.
The morning is, we do not have a lot of cases in the morning, it can be
Wanna
moved
do
to the
it?
morning.
The fifth?
Yes.
Do it anytime you say, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I just may, these officers work 7 to 3, 7 at night, 3 in the morning.
Oh.
So.
Better do it in the afternoon.
What time in the morning you will be?
11 o'clock. 11 o'clock it is. And okay, Mrs. Smith?
Your Honor, that is on the
Next Thursday, yeah.
Next Thursday. That's on Lincoln's birthday. No, that's not on Lincoln's birthday. That's the 5th, Your Honor.
I don't know. You're looking at the
Yes,
calendar.
it
I'm not.
is. It is the
I'll
5th.
check it.
Yes.
Fifth.
Your Honor, I have a doctor's appointment at 10 o'clock. I see Dr. Redwood. And it's kind of
You want to make it
crucial.
11:30 or so?
Could we do it in the
Wait, no, I'm not
12
saying- I'm not saying
12
it's-
o'clock? 12:15?
it's usually the reset.
I gotta be back here anyway for 1 o'clock.
Why don't
We'll
we
make
do
it just
1
1
o'clock?
o'clock.
Do it at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Okay, 1 o'clock is fine.
So 2, 5, 1 p.m.
All right, folks. All right, let's go. Let's go to the next.
Your Honor, just representatives of the community, we're here to speak on that Eric 500. Just if you can be here next week at 1 p.m., that's when we're going to hear it. We had just a couple members from the community.
Yeah, it would be wonderful if we could be heard at 1 o'clock.
We got you on the first case.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Good.
We appreciate it.
First
All
case,
right.
please.
Thank you.
All right, officer's first case, next week, 1 o'clock. Okay, Ms. Smith, I'll see you then.
Thank you, Your Honor. See you then.
All right, now, tell me
Thank
when
you,
you're ready.
Commissioners.
Smith?
Just waiting for them to clear out.
Courts.
Calling.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Go.
Liquor Board Board versus Samsung Liquors Incorporated. Hang Hyun Kim, trading as B&O Cafe.
Take that.
Wait, did we do everything at the top of the docket? Or do we miss some things because there was somebody not here?
Let's go first.
Hold on, can you wait, Mr. Akris? Just whisper, we're on the record.
All right, call the case.
I call the case. Thomas Akers on behalf of the Liquor Board, calling Liquor Board versus Samsung Liquors Incorporated, trading as B&O.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensees who are present.
Okay, call your first witness. And we swear all the witnesses.
Everybody raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Call your first witness.
I'll be calling Chief Inspector Shelton Jones. Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, you've been sworn.
Please state your name and duty assignment for the record.
Chief Jones, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
And how long have you been with the Liquor Board?
Since October of 2014.
And what are your duties as Chief Inspector of the Liquor Board?
To go out and enforce the law of the state of Maryland as far as liquor license purchasing.
Here within Baltimore City?
Yes.
And before joining the Liquor Board, what did you do?
I spent 22 years as the Baltimore City Police Detective.
And what division were you particularly assigned to in those 22 years?
Homicide, vice, undercover drugs, throughout my career. And in that time period, in course indulgence, I can qualify him now as an expert in identifying CDS. That's where I'm going with all
Do
this.
you have any objection to him being qualified as an expert?
I do. I have a preliminary objection to the qualification as an expert witness.
No problem.
No, just that explanation. So in those 22 years, how much training experience did you have in the identification of distribution of and packaging of controlled dangerous substances?
Approximately
Almost 4,000 now. And did you go to the academy? Yes. And did you receive any certification or training in the identification, packaging, distribution of controlled dangerous substances? Yes. And about how many hours did you take in the academy? In the academy, I think it was about, I want to say 15, 16 hours. In the academy. Now, as part of your training as an officer, are there annual trainings that you receive to keep you current in regards to identification, packaging, distribution of controlled dangerous substances? Yes. And did you take those classes? Yes. Did you obtain those certifications? Yes. So in total, in your 22 years at Baltimore City Police Department, how much training did you receive?
somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,000 hours throughout my career as an undercover purchasing drugs and undercover in the vice unit and
Okay. Training's one part, we'll get into the experience next. Now, in terms of your actual practical experience, about how many arrests were you involved with in the identification, packaging, distribution of controlled dangerous substances?
Probably in the neighborhood of 200.
200 arrests?
Yeah.
And in the course of those arrests, what, if anything, were your responsibilities?
And most of those arrests, I was the undercover who was purchasing the drugs through hand-to-hand transactions, street-level drug dealers, and some higher-up level drug dealers.
So you've had hundreds of instances in your career where you've been able to identify street-level packaged controlled dangerous substances for sale?
Yes.
Street level?
Yes.
And have you ever testified in district court, circuit court, and/or juvenile court in regards to the identification, distribution, packaging of controlled dangerous substances?
Yes, in district court and circuit court.
Have you ever been qualified as an expert in the identification, packaging, distribution of controlled dangerous substances in district court and circuit court?
Yes.
In Baltimore City?
Yes.
Have you ever been qualified as an expert in federal court?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move to have this particular witness as identified as an expert in the identification, packaging, and distribution of controlled dangerous substances.
Questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Chief Inspector, you've never been qualified as an expert witness before any liquor board in this state, isn't that right?
Correct.
All right, and you no longer maintain any certifications you once were required to keep, isn't that right?
Well, I'm still certified as of this moment until June of 2015.
Right, you've never been published as an expert in this field, have you? In periodicals, literature?
No.
Okay. And you're not required to take any continuing education courses as a result of your employment with the Board of Liquor License Commissioners relative to drugs, isn't that right?
No.
All right. Your Honor, I would, once again, I have nothing further, but I would like to move that this is not an expert witness. He's going to provide lay testimony. He was an eyewitness. He's not here to review reports and give his expert opinion. He's a lay witness. If you look ahead to the charges and his report, he's just there to testify what he is seeing. And so I would argue that he is a lay witness and he doesn't meet the criteria as an expert witness. Thank you.
All right, finding Mr. Jones is easily qualified as an expert witness in the field of drug identification and distribution. You may go on with your testimony.
Thank you, sir. Now, on January 12th, 2015, approximately 5 p.m., did you have the opportunity to respond to what's trading as B.O. Cafe at 1301 to 1303 West Pratt Street?
Yes, I did.
What city and state is that located in?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Now, for what reason were you there?
I was there to investigate the problems that were going on in the establishment in the surrounding area in regards to loitering and drug activity in the area, specifically complaints that came in about drug activity being participated in inside the location.
And when you got to the location, what, if anything, did you do?
I walked in as a regular patron, and I stood around the store as other patrons were standing around the store.
Where did you stand in the establishment?
I stood right in front of the front counter where some other patrons were being waited on. There were also some patrons that had already purchased alcoholic beverages standing off to my right near the doorway, drinking alcohol out of black paper bags.
Now, if you could, please describe the layout of this establishment so the board kind of gets a sense of where you were in relation to everything else.
Okay. If you walk in the door will be behind me this way to my back. There's a front wall here and a side wall here. After you come in,
They don't really tell a good story of where he was, Your Honor, because I think that's going to be key.
so as I came in, there were patrons standing along this side wall here, which would be a front wall. The counter area is right in front of me here. There's a wall, a knee-high wall that separates the packaged goods side from the bar area. And then the front counter is here with the protective glass in front.
And where were you standing in relation to the front counter?
I was right in front of the front counter where the leaning against the knee-high wall.
And what was your purpose in standing there?
I was trying to see what activity was being conducted inside the location.
How were you dressed?
I was in jeans, a winter jacket, and a skull cap.
Did you bear any insignia on your person of your official title as Chief Liquor Inspector?
No, I did not.
And so how long were you waiting there before anything unusual occurred?
About 3 to 5 minutes before the actual individual came into the location.
And when you say actual individual, could you please expand upon that?
There was a gentleman who came in, as I say, the other patrons were already standing in the store. There was a gentleman that came in with a skull cap, dreadlocks, he had on a winter coat, and a pair of jeans. He came in a few minutes later. As I was standing there, he goes up into the corner where the...
How far away is that corner from you?
That corner,
Objection, the witness had not finished his statement.
the corner would be approximately where the second row of chairs are here in the courtroom. And I'm standing there leaning against the wall, watching everything that's going on, watching who's at the door. When the gentleman comes in, goes to that corner, there's a Caucasian gentleman who comes in directly behind him, who stands right about where the first row is, and the guy tells him to leave out the store.
What guy?
The gentleman who was in the corner with the dreadlocks. He had on I think it was a blue winter jacket. And he leaves, the Caucasian gentleman leaves out the store as the African-American gentleman with the dreadlocks in the corner drops the back of his pants and digs down in the back of his pants and recovers CDS, which was in a clear plastic bag, white, hard rocky-like substance. And he then advertises what he has, and I say to him, because I'm still leaning against the wall, looking at what's going on, I say to him, you don't know what's really going on here and who I am, because I can have you arrested right here in the store for what you're doing. And he looks at me and says, oh, and everybody else in the store starts clearing out. He starts clearing out as well, going out the door. And then he leans back, going out the door, and says, you must be a cop, and goes out the door. Meanwhile, the owner is behind the counter, walking back and forth from the doorway, where the gentleman who had the drugs was standing. The owner's in the doorway and going back and forth to the counter, watching the whole situation occur.
Based on those observations, what did you think the gentleman in the dreads was attempting to do?
Objection.
Oh, expert. He was selling drugs to the Caucasian gentleman that followed him in.
What would make you think that?
Because he had one of the gentlemen in the store, after the Caucasian gentleman came in, he said, watch the door, which meant watch the door for the police coming up and down the street in case they came in.
Now, the observations that you made as to the CDS, was there anything obstructing your view when you made those observations of the CDS in the hands of the gentleman with the dreads?
No.
Okay, do you wear glasses?
No.
Okay. And what made you think that those items that were in his hand, what made you think they were suspected CDS?
From what he was advertising and where he pulled them from.
Objection.
And what about how they were packaged?
They was packaged in shape the size of known narcotics from my experience over the years dealing with people of that nature.
Now, how many times have you seen narcotics in your career packaged in a similar fashion to the way they were packaged from the gentleman who was holding them in his hands with the dreads?
Objection, relevance, and he's already been qualified as an expert witness, so we can't call this voir dire.
Overruled. Answer.
Hundreds of times.
Okay. I'm now showing this marked as exhibit, and just preliminarily, Your Honor, I'm just going to make a motion to move the evidentiary file, or right now, the evidentiary file into evidence.
I'll object to that. I need a more broad, more basic statement that's
We're
specific.
talking about the file with the liquor board.
The entire liquor board file will be moved into evidence, including, that is, the entire file or just the notes that are prepared for this case?
The entire file includes the evidentiary file for this
Does that
case.
also include the events of October 22nd, 2014, which is a prior case that would occur in the file?
It's for this, it's an evidentiary file which has these exhibits in it. That's what I'm moving into evidence.
I'll object as to the investigative report, Exhibit A1. Give you my basis. May I give you my basis and make some argument, Your Honor? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. It calls for conclusions. There's opinion, lay opinion in here. It says, I, Chief Jones, had to put the people out of the location because the owner has clearly lost control of what is going on in and around his business. That's not a fact. That's some kind of a argumentative, subjective opinion, and that's inflammatory, and I therefore object to its admissibility.
Yeah, I'm going to admit the file only as a basis of why the case is here, but not necessarily as for the proof of the charges before you. And therefore, the file is admitted Exhibit 1. Go ahead, sir.
Just so I'm clear, Your Honor, this evidentiary is already in the record. I don't have to introduce it, correct? It's already, this investigative report's already in the record. Great. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Now, why would you state that, getting back to a point council made, why would you state that in your report, and you did offer this report, right?
Yes.
Mark, this is exhibit number 1. Why would you state that the owner had lost control of the business?
Objection.
I'm asking who's...
I'm objecting because, once again, he's an expert witness.
Yeah,
He
call
has-
us for an opinion, sustained.
As an officer, based as an officer, what kind of conduct did you see happening in that store at the time, as a former police officer?
One, there was loitering out front, there was loitering inside the store. There was alcoholic beverages being consumed inside the store from black plastic bags. Inside the location, it's a bar area and there's a packaged goods area. If the patrons were gonna consume alcohol, they should have been at the bar and not standing up along the side wall inside the location. The owner couldn't even see from the protective glass because he had so much merchandise and stuff pent up to the glass where I asked him to move it afterwards. So he didn't know what was going on inside the store because he couldn't see half the time, and then the other half of the time, he just wasn't paying attention.
So as a chief liquor inspector, did you think that this individual was operating his establishment up to code and in accordance with the rules and regulations published by the Liquor Board of Baltimore City?
Objection. That's a conclusion for this board to make, not a chief
No, that's
inspector.
his job as a liquor inspector, to determine whether an owner has control of his premises. Overruled, you may answer.
I feel as though he didn't because people were just doing whatever they wanted to do inside his establishment, and he was protected behind the glass and wouldn't come out while they were in there.
No further questions. All right, thank you very much. Chief, you understand this is a BD7 licensed establishment, isn't that right?
Yes.
All right, and you understand that the entire first floor, you're allowed to drink on the entire first floor, isn't that right?
That's correct.
All right, so what is your beef with people drinking inside the licensed premises? And how is that illegal?
How it's illegal is when they have a plastic bag and they're walking in and out of his location drinking alcohol.
All right,
That's how it's illegal.
but you have no problem with people drinking on the interior of his establishment?
I have no problem with people sitting down at the bar consuming alcohol.
But that's not what I'm asking you.
I have a problem with people walking in and out with a black plastic bag, drinking alcohol, claiming they're going to the bus stop and coming back.
All right. But if somebody is standing inside the establishment, whether at the bar or not, and they're consuming alcohol, in your opinion, is that a violation?
It's not a violation per se, because they really need to be sitting down at the bar to consume alcohol.
Right, but will you point me to the law that would say that you must be seated at a bar in order to drink?
You have to be seated.
Wait a minute, you gotta let him finish the question. You gotta let him answer.
Absolutely.
Okay. You know, finish your question.
No, so would you say, again, is it a violation of the law to not be seated at a bar while you're consuming alcohol on a BD7 licensed
question.
premises?
No.
Okay. All right, and you, in this matter, where did the complaint originate that was the genesis of your investigation?
Objection. Oh, the same.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to understand is what, was there anything more to your investigation than just walking into this bar and 3 minutes later seeing what you believed was a drug transaction?
From the previous times that I've had to go there myself, talk to this owner and the owner of another establishment in the area about the loitering and complaints that come in about their establishments.
In fact, you attended a community meeting on October 22nd, 2014 regarding this subject, did you not?
Yes, I did.
All right. And at that time, a complainant, Ms.
Objection.
Cahill, who-
Objection, Your Honor. What is the, where is this going, Your Honor, in relevance to this particular?
Question is, I can't rule on it until I hear it. Go ahead.
And in fact, you've indicated that you went to a community meeting on October 22nd, 2014, isn't that right?
Yes.
All right. And that,
Once you get to the point.
sure, and at that time, an investigation was initiated based on a complainant who lives at 1500 West Lombard Street, isn't that right?
I don't think it was the complainant at 1500 West Lombard, it was the sender across the street, which Ms. Cahill works at.
So there was violations issued against this bar shortly thereafter.
This bar or
Isn't
another
that right?
one? Another bar, which bar are you talking about?
Objection, Your Honor.
This bar,
Wait a
against the
minute,
bar.
wait a minute. Which bar are we talking about?
We're only here on one bar today,
No, there's a
1301
bar
West
across the
Pratt.
street and I'm mixed up, and if I'm mixed up, I don't know how everybody can understand what
Okay.
you're talking about.
Yeah, I promise I'm only gonna talk about 1301 West Pratt at this time.
Your Honor, I have a very strong point to make, Your Honor. Your Honor, in defense counsel just stated a home address of a complainant, Your Honor, on the record.
That's not correct, Your Honor. I said the 1500 block of West Lombard Street as, in order to demonstrate a point that there was a distance between the complainant and the bar, not to give away any trade secrets or anything.
Your Honor, I would just ask that counsel make no mention of where anyone in any area lives in terms of a complainant from a bar.
Okay, the woman's name is in your file, is in your reports, in the report that the chief has written up, her full name. So I'm not here to do any damage there. I'm just saying this is public record, and I'm only cross-examining the officer on public record.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, and Chief, you possess, you carry a firearm when you're on duty, isn't that right?
I carry a firearm for my personal safety.
And you had it on you at 1301 West Pratt on January 12th at 5 p.m., isn't that right?
Yes, I did.
And you went into that bar on a rainy Monday night at 5 o'clock, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That's a busy time in the neighborhood, isn't it? People coming and going from work, right?
I can't say that. I don't live in the neighborhood.
Is there any reason why you chose 5 p.m.?
I was at work,
Okay,
and that was just the time I picked to go over.
All right, and you never called the police after you saw what you believed to be a felony being committed in front of your very eyes?
There was no felony committed. I couldn't say what was the felony or misdemeanor. I didn't know.
But yet you say you saw those drugs so good that you could tell they were even hard. They were even hard rock-like, even though you didn't touch them?
Yes, I did, but to commit a felony, there has to be a limited number of drugs. I couldn't count them from where I was standing.
But certainly you have friends in the police department. You could have called the police right away if you wanted to and gotten quick service, don't you think?
I'm like any other normal citizen. I call the police like you do, 911, and they come.
But as part of your duties as chief inspector, don't you think it would have been important for you to have backup as far as corroboration in the form of a police report and the recovery of controlled dangerous substances?
I work for the liquor board, not the police department anymore. I don't have any special privileges or pull to get anybody there any quicker than anybody else.
Yes, sir, but you are investigating or in taking place in the middle of a narcotics investigation, and yet you didn't believe that it would be important to preserve that evidence in any way legally necessary?
I have no way of preserving that evidence because I am an agent of the liquor board and not an agent of the police department.
Right, but you didn't smell any drugs. What you've testified to is that you saw a package with what you think looks like hard rocks.
I saw what I believed in his hand to be, because I can't prove it, because we don't have that evidence to test to whether it was apparent CDS.
So I'm going to ask you now, how many man-hours have been spent on investigating this particular bar since you've been chief inspector?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained. Not relevant.
So
Unless you have some point that you're trying to reach.
I sure am. So the Baltimore Sun,
You gotta show me what you're
the
trying to
Baltimore Sun recently had an article in which the agency effectively admitted that they'd never done a routine unannounced inspection on the casino. Isn't that right, Chief?
Objection, relevance.
So Chief, how much time have you spent looking into this bar?
Objection,
Or you have to show me what you're trying to reach before I'll let you.
I'm trying to understand, quite frankly, why an incredible amount of resources are being spent on investigating a small bar, not just in this instance, but on October 22nd.
You haven't shown me.
Well, because every question's been objected to, Your Honor. You haven't let that evidence in.
Come on, Mr. Fogelman, there's 2,000 or 3,000 bars in the city, and you haven't shown any reason why this particular bar should be answering questions about why it's been pinpointed.
Mr. Chairman, this board has only been in existence for 7 months, and yet this bar has been before you twice. There are 1,390 licensees citywide.
This is the second time, isn't it?
Right. And so in light of that Baltimore Sun article, Your Honor, in light of that Baltimore Sun article that says there's never been a routine inspection unannounced done on the casino, I want to know more about where the resources are being used. And if there are inordinate amount of resources being directed at one bar, I want to understand why.
Thank you. All right, and Chief, have you ever spoken or had any conversations whatsoever about this bar with Mr. Chairman or the commissioners of the liquor board?
Objection. Abstain.
Your Honor, I think it's important for the record whether or not there have been any ex parte conversations
No, as a
regarding this bar.
matter of fact, we have a rule that I produced as a chairman, that people can complain about bars and to a secret account, so that the bars can't retaliate against these people. And I've instructed a procedure to be set up for these phone calls from anybody in the community that wants to do so, and I advertise this all the time, can call in on places with respect to license violations or perceived violations, and that their identity will not be identified or given out unless, of course, they want it given out.
Right, but my
So
question.
that's the basis of my decision.
All right, but my question was simply whether or not the chief inspector had any conversations regarding this particular bar with the commission.
Well, that's exactly what I just finished saying, didn't I?
All right,
Sustained.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
won't know that.
No.
Okay. All right,
So, Mr. Fogelman, if you have any complaints about bars, we'd be glad to hear from you. We promise we won't tell.
you got it. You got it. All right, and Chief,
So you were there 5 minutes, you testified, right?
I was inside about 5 minutes before the activity occurred.
all right, you saw the video my client had, such as it was, right?
Yes.
He had a security video which showed what was happening in the bar for the period of time that you were in the bar, right?
It only showed what he wanted us to see. It didn't show everything that occurred.
All right, but you viewed that, and you didn't see anything on that video that would look anything like a drug transaction, wouldn't you?
I saw 2 frames that your client held his cell phone up to and blocked the other frames out.
Well, I'll have my client testify, but didn't it look like he was trying to move around and show all the different angles and views of you in the bar?
No, because if he would have done that, he would have saw all of his cameras and not just 2. He went from one frame to another frame, just showing me and not showing what was actually going on. You saw me talking to somebody, but you couldn't see them in the next frame because he wasn't showing that frame.
Do you or counsel, I might say, have any objection to the board viewing that video while you're able to explain to the board what you're doing?
No, I don't.
I mean, I'll either bring it in with them or bring it in with him. It's just, yeah.
If you want to bring it in, that's fine.
Or I can wait until our half of the case. So, okay. All right, so, well, yeah, well, I'll withdraw, no question pending. And you saw the report that Inspector Karanakolis, I believe, in Hyde did when they did a follow-up 2 days later?
So outside the scope, we haven't even talked about any kind of question or inspection by Karanakolis.
Right. I mean, and my point was that I was going to ask him if he'd seen the photos. He was talking about his own witnessing of loitering. I was going to ask him about the photos in the other inspection and ask him if he believed there was loitering going on in that one as well.
Go ahead, let's go. Let's
All
keep
right.
going.
Did you see the photos that Inspector Karanakolis and Inspector Hyde produced when they went back to the bar 2 days later?
Yes, I did.
All right. And in those photos, did you see any evidence whatsoever of loitering?
I can't remember because I haven't looked at them lately.
All right, and so the files and evidence, can you just show them A3? I think it's A3. The photos that you're looking at right there.
All the photos?
Yes.
I didn't know you wanted one
Yes.
particular one. Oh, yeah, these, yeah.
And so you don't see any loitering going on there, do you?
No.
In those photos that
No.
were already admitted evidence, and that was at a different time. That wasn't at 5 o'clock at night, was it?
Not that I know of. I don't know what time it was.
All right, so,
Ladies, please. Thank you very much.
all right, so, board's indulgence. And, Chief, did you see this gentleman in the store when you were doing your investigation?
I could have, I may have, I'm not sure.
Matt, which gentleman were you?
Oh, I'm sorry,
in
the gentleman with the gold framed glasses who is standing to my right. Thank you very much. And Chief, your report in this matter, it's fair to say it was kind of short, don't you agree?
Objection.
Chief, you used to write more complete and thorough reports when you used to come before this board as an officer, didn't you?
Objection.
And Chief, do you think there's any reason why you need to put in a report that the licensee has lost control of the business?
From my view as the chief inspector of the liquor board, this is not the first complaint that I've had to go there and investigate of loitering and drug activity, and it's been a constant problem in the neighborhood and the community, which resulted in me having to go to that community meeting and discuss this particular bar. So that was my reason for putting my personal opinion of my consistent efforts going there to talk to this licensee and talk to the other licensee in the community to try to get them to work with the community to clear up this problem. But the first time I went and tried to talk to this licensee, I spoke to him on the phone, and he was not available to meet with the other licensee who is now out of the country at the moment. So I went there on this particular occasion trying to discuss with him the problems he was having when this incident occurred.
Right, and Chief, you testified you've been with the liquor board for about 3 months?
Since October.
Since October. And since October, how many 311 complaints have come into the liquor board about this establishment?
I can't say right off the top.
Would it surprise you if it was one?
I know it's probably more than that.
But you know places, because I remember, you know places that get a 311 call almost every day, don't you?
Say that again?
I said, you're aware that there are places that get a 311 complaint almost every day, is that right?
Sustained, it's got nothing to do with this case, come on.
So is it your testimony is you don't know how many 311 complaints came in?
You said one. You said one.
I did, and he said I thought it would be more. So I'm just trying to pin him down on the answer. But you don't know, right?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, I have nothing further. Thank you for your extra time.
No other witnesses, just two questions to clarify. This is a BD7, correct?
Yes.
And you don't have a problem with people drinking in a BD7, do you?
No.
But you do have a problem with people drinking in open containers, exiting the bar, and then coming back in.
Yes.
Why do you have a problem with that?
Because it's against the law. I mean, they're drinking in public on a public street. Once they leave outside the licensed premise establishment, that's a open container violation.
Now,
When he testified originally, he said it was in a package, and they walked away from the bar. Package what? Would you clarify what you testified earlier?
I meant packaged goods. They actually had packaged goods from the packaged goods area, walking outside of the packaged
You
goods
talking
area.
about alcoholic beverages inside a container, a packaged paper? What are you
Yes.
talking about?
They had a black plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
The young lady that was standing off to the right was drinking out of the black plastic bag, and she was walking.
Standing off to the right where? In the bar?
She was in the packaged goods area.
Oh, okay.
Not in the bar area,
All
because
right.
the bar area was separated by a knee-high wall on the other side.
Was she violating the law?
She was violating the law when she was walking out, in and out, drinking out of the.
You saw her
black
going through the
plastic bag.
door to the exit?
She walked out a couple of times during the period of time after.
Listen to me, Chief. I'm trying to get clear as to whether this person in the packaged liquor store who bought liquor, did this person violate the law?
Yes.
How?
She walked outside of the establishment drinking out of an open
On
container.
the public street?
On a public street.
Okay.
One other question, how was that person served? Were they served from the, which side of the bar were they served from?
I can't answer that. She was already, when I walked in, she was already standing there drinking out of the paper bag when I came in.
Follow-up? Yeah, thank you. Chief, now that you're mentioning this woman who broke the law by having an open container outside, why did none of that you just testified to ever make it into your investigation report?
I thought that it was more evidentiary to focus on what I came there to investigate, was the drug activity that the owner knew about that was going on inside of his establishment, more so than I couldn't prove that this lady even purchased that from this location, but she was inside of his location drinking. And the only reason I know that she went outside the door was because after I made everybody leave, she went out the door with the open container.
And Chief, the open container charge never made it into the charging document as well, did it?
I can't prove that he even served her that alcohol.
Right.
I wasn't in there at the time.
So I'll go ahead and move to strike Mr. Akris's line of questioning in that regard.
It's up to the board to draw its own conclusions from the evidence.
Right. But given the fact that it's not charged and it's not related to any report, I would ask that it's.
Well, you can do what you want, sir. Let's go on.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have for following.
All right, call your next witness.
Next calling, Thomas Chronic. Is it Thomas or just Tom? Tom Chronicolas.
Inspector Chronicles of Baltimore City Court.
And how long have you been with Baltimore City Liquor Board?
About a year and a half.
And what are your duties, Baltimore City Liquor Board?
Inspector.
What do you do as an inspector?
Routine inspections, answer the 311 calls. Whatever the chief comes in.
And did you ever have an opportunity, particularly on January 13, 2015, approximately 11:45 a.m., to respond to 1301 to 1303 West Pratt Street to an establishment better known as B&O Cafe?
Yes. So about January 13th or January 14th?
Sorry, January 14th. Strike that.
Well, let's get it straight. What's your question?
Of course. Yeah. Strike that. Your Honor. Yeah. Your Honor, looking at the charging document, I put January 14th and then moved to amend January 13th.
Objection.
Huh?
Objection.
Sustained. You're too late. You have to have correct
Correct.
charging documents, and therefore Rule 306, January 14th, because it's the wrong date. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
It's
I
dismissed.
apologize. That's my fault.
I assume you're
It's good to
making a
get
motion
one.
to dismiss it.
Yes, Your
All right,
Thank
granted.
you. Thank you.
You're correct. No further case.
Okay. All right, so your case is on.
That's it, yes.
All right. Now, do you have any other cross-exam or anything with respect to their case?
No, Your Honor.
Your case.
This time I'd like to make a motion to dismiss. I'd like
Dismiss what?
to dismiss the remaining charges, which all revolve around the alleged CDS that was in the bar. Your Honor, you've had several cases. This board has had several cases involving narcotics, specifically 4.16 violations. Back on July 31st, 2014, you dismissed and granted a motion to dismiss at the case of 200 South Conkling Street. The bar was called Los Paisanos. Mr. Kadinsky represented. In that case, Your Honor, you had cocaine, what was apparently cocaine. You had an officer testify that cocaine was being sold at that bar. There was a controlled buy with a marked bill and everything, but they didn't get a lab analysis, so cocaine was never proven. In that case, you told the officer that you were very disturbed that the officer
That's a police department case.
that the officer didn't have the proof that the powder sold in the case was in fact cocaine. Later, on September 18th, 2014, the board threw out a 4.16 charge, dismissed it at 123 North Clinton Street. In that case, there were 20 bags of cocaine recovered, $1,181 in cash, a woman who appeared to be on ecstasy, and the smell of burning marijuana in the bar. In that case, by a 2-to-1 vote with Commissioner Moore dissenting, the 4.16 drug charge was dismissed. Now, I have both the original transcript of the decision of July 31st, 2014 that I'm happy to provide to the board and the commissioners.
I'm certainly sorry about that.
Here you are, Your Honor. This is the July 31st decision of the
Not
board.
misrepresented.
What's that?
I'm sure you wouldn't misrepresent.
No, but it's so short. Don't trust me.
Well, I
Read it.
remember. Actually, I remember.
Okay, all right. And then, again, on September 18th, 2014, as I say, we had burning marijuana, a woman who looked like she was on ecstasy, 20 bags of cocaine, and in that case, there was also no lab analysis, and therefore, the charges were dismissed. Now, interestingly, I couldn't find the transcript for that September 18th, 2014 case when I went to view the file last week. However, it is on the internet, and a written summation of that case was made by Rebecca Lundberg of the Community Law Center of the date of September 18th, 2014, and I'm happy to prepare and distribute. Sorry, I've got a lot of files. A copy of Rebecca Lundberg-Witt's observations of the hearing.
So why should we give any weight to Rebecca Lundberg-Witt's observations?
Well, I have viewed first of all, I've viewed the YouTube video, and it indeed does match what is represented by Ms. Witt's writing there. So in that case, I will point you, that's a long document, so unlike the decision of July, I'll point you to where my arguments are. December 7, 2013 talks about the ecstasy and the smell of marijuana. That's pages 2 and 3, and then on page 4 is the decision whereby Chairman Ward had ruled against the 4.16 conviction. Page 4, it says responsible for all violations except sale of narcotic drugs. Okay, and it was, it says 2-0 Jones absent. However, it says Moore disagreed with Ward on the narcotics drug charge. She thought there was sufficient evidence. So I'll be happy to give you a minute to read all that if you need
No,
to.
I'm prepared.
Okay, all right.
I'll let you
Sure.
talk too, but I want to, as I recall.
Well, I'm almost finished, I promise.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, really close, really close. So I want to distinguish those two cases. In those two cases, we actually had drugs recovered. We actually had an arrest made. We seized cash. There was no lab analysis. What's different about this case is that we don't have any drugs. We don't have an arrest report. We don't have the corroboration of a Baltimore City police officer, no lab analysis. So let me just, in closing on the motion, just say that you obviously have very tough jobs, and I remember how tough this job is. Sometimes, though, these decisions don't have to be difficult, and that is when there simply is not enough evidence to sustain the charge. In this case, we have an inspector showing up at 5 p.m. He says he thought he saw something. There is nothing beyond that. There's no...
You have something that's materially different in this case, and that is the charge itself of illegal conduct.
Right, but there's a 4.16 charge. Okay, and I'm done.
The
I'm
illegal
sorry.
conduct case which you produced the transcript was a question of possession of actual drugs and identification of the drugs and drug dealers. In this particular case, there's actually two charges. One is the second charge of narcotic drugs, but the first charge is illegal conduct. And read the transcript in this case is what I said with respect to the conduct of the customers. I said that what's going on in the bar, the licensees are always responsible for the conduct of their customers. And in fact, they are not inspecting each customer and so forth. They're responsible for what goes on and happens inside the bar. And if there's even a possibility of illegal conduct, it's up to the licensee to prevent it and stop it, so on that the argument and so forth. Now, what I did in that case is I found that the client, the bar, the licensee, was responsible for improper conduct, but not the proof of actual drug dealing. And we have the same situation here. And I agree with you on the narcotic charge, which was the second charge of violation of Rule 4.16. And while the officer, in this case, the chief inspector of the, we have to deal with what we have, of course, as you know from being a previous chairman of the board. just like he said. He may think it's drugs, but he never had it examined. And my previous decisions have held that that's not enough. And I hold today the same thing. But I find that the illegal conduct, the conduct of the bar owner himself, with the possibility of drug dealing inside his bar, as a community board, where what we say is presumed correct under the law of the state legislature, that there's a more, I'm not gonna rule, because you may have other evidence that I haven't heard yet, but that's the direction I'm traveling.
So you have, I'm sorry, so you have granted our motion to dismiss on the Rule 4.16 charge?
That's
only.
right.
And the the January 13, 14 are already.
Well, I already have granted that one.
All right, then, thank you.
Because you had the wrong date.
Right, and I'll call my first witness.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'll call Mr. Kim. Yoon Kim. All right, may I borrow a microphone?
Take this from his closer.
Actually, I'd like to change that. I'd like to call Gary Moore Jr.
It's your
first.
case, sir.
Thank you very much. Gary Moore Jr.
Hello, how you doing?
Thank you, sir. Did you raise your hand? and
Yeah,
sworn
we
in
know,
earlier?
yeah, we.
Gary Moore is such a famous name.
That's what I thought. It sounded like a ball player, especially with the junior,
Well,
but
there's
he
another
would
guy.
know if he was a ball player in this town.
He's a
so.
famous comedian and so forth.
There you go. All right, Mr. Moore.
Yes, sir.
Where do you live, sir?
I live 1332 McHenry.
1332 McHenry.
Yes, sir.
And how far is that from the B&O?
Right around the corner from me.
One block.
One block.
All right. And were you in the licensed establishment in question at 5 o'clock on January 12th?
Yes, sir. I was right there.
All right. And were you in the bar the entire time that the gentleman with the yellow tie was in the bar?
Yeah, he was right when I was standing on this side, right there. When he walked in, he went past me, and he said like this.
Yeah, come on.
Like this.
Come on over here, Mr.
And I thought he was ordering something, right? Because I had just got a coffee, and I was standing right here, leaning on the bar like this, drinking the coffee. So he say, I advise everybody, if you ain't buying nothing, I advise y'all to leave. When he say that, I know he was a policeman. I just picked my coffee up and walked on out the door.
All right, let's back up for a second. While you were in the store at the same time as the chief inspector, did you witness anybody fiddling with their pants?
No, I ain't see nobody filling the
Did
pan.
you witness anybody making hand-to-hand transactions
No, sir.
of any substance
No, sir.
whatsoever?
No, sir.
All right. Did you see any fighting or loitering or any other behavior?
No, I ain't see no fighting, no nothing.
Was it raining that day?
Was it raining
Yeah,
that
it was
day?
raining that day.
Was
We
it
was
raining
si-
at 5
We
o'clock?
were standing there.
Time out. You gotta let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
I want to let you finish. All right. Was it raining at 5 o'clock when you entered
Yeah.
the store?
Mm.
Why did you enter the store?
I was in the store to get out of the rain. I went in there and got me a coffee. And as soon as she gave me the coffee, I opened it up and tiptoed a little piece of plastic off the top. And I sit it right here, and I was standing there. That's when he walked past me, and he came in the bar like he was looking for something to order from up there. I thought he was looking for some tater chips or some liquor or something, because it was up on the thing. So he looking through the window. So he turned like this and put his hand like this, and then somebody opened the door and said something about anybody selling loose one. So I just looked at him. He said, when he said something about loose one, he said, I advise all of y'all ever who ain't buying nothing to leave. And that's when I grabbed my coffee off like this and walked out the door. And that's when I went home. That's all it was.
And how often do you visit the store?
I come there every day because I go there and drink a lot of coffee.
All right. I have nothing further for this witness.
Any questions?
No questions.
No, I mean,
Oh, yeah, no.
any questions?
You,
Just a couple. So, how long were you at B&O before the chief inspector walked in?
I say about something at the 2, little at the 2.
So you were there from 2 to 5
5,
p.m.?
yeah.
And you just drinking coffee?
Drink coffee
Anything else?
and I was watching the news
Okay.
on the TV. I sit there and drink coffee and watch the news
And
right
you
there.
didn't move from there?
No, I
for
ain't
3
moved
hours?
from there.
And what particularly struck your attention about the chief inspector when he walked in?
'Cause he just walked in, and once he was looking like he was looking for something to drink, all the potato chips or something, 'cause he was looking up, like this when he was walking past. So he's standing like this, I'm like this, standing right like this. He stopped like this, and he done his arm like this, and he said, "I advise all of y'all ain't buying nothing to leave right now." That's why I say he must be a policeman. I grabbed my coffee and I left. That's all.
It seems like you, pay particular attention to what's going on
Yeah.
around you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and while you're paying particular attention, you saw the inspector come in? and
Yeah, I seen when
took
he
a
came
look.
in.
And did you see anybody else come in?
I ain't seen nobody else come
Did you see a
in.
white male come in
No,
before that?
no.
No? Did you see a woman come in with an open container, kind of walk in and out of the bar?
No.
No, you didn't. So you seemed like you were there for 2.5, 3 hours, but you paid close attention to things, but you didn't notice anybody else, right?
No.
You didn't notice anybody else, what anybody else was doing.
No.
And there were a number of people in the bar.
It was people in there ordering stuff from that he was waiting on from, was buying something from the bar, 'cause I had this guy a coffee from out the spinner thing. So she gave me a coffee, so I took my coffee and set it like this. This the side, I was on this side. So I opened my coffee, pulled the top off, tore a little piece of plastic off the top and put it on there. Then when he walked past me, he done like this.
Okay. So you can only remember those 3 hours. You can only remember the inspector and
Yeah,
what he did.
when
walking
he
past
said he
you.
shot.
That's all you can remember?
Yeah.
You don't remember anything about a white male?
No.
You don't know anything about a woman carrying an open container?
No,
You don't know
sir.
anything about a man with dreads, correct?
No.
Okay, no further questions.
Next witness.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kim? All right, the licensee, Mr. Kim. I believe I filed 2 exhibits so far in this matter. I'm just going to try to. I filed 2 exhibits so far. I just want to keep track.
Yes.
Okay, and one was
Transcript and 2 was,
the block.
The Becky Wick. Witt.
All right, Mr. Kim, you're the licensee, isn't that right?
Yes.
All right. After you received a violation from this board in October for a loitering situation, you installed a video camera system worth over $8,000, isn't that right?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to show you this first picture. Can you tell me what that picture is and who took it?
No objection. I have no objection.
Exhibit 3, security camera photo. Right, you took the photo, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it?
It's camera.
It's your security camera. All right, it's one of them, right?
Yes.
Okay, exhibit 3, I'll ask for admission thereon.
Joanne.
All right, and in fact, after October, you installed for the first time, what else, if anything?
Yeah, put him in a mic.
You put in a microphone?
Yes.
Did you also put in a speaker?
Yeah, speaker outside.
Can you now yell at people outside and tell them to move along?
It's a lot of time.
All right, have you, with your new speaker system, communicated with loiterers in front of your establishment?
It's now okay. Now, and they understand. Okay, everybody move.
Right.
Yeah.
But have you used, do you use your security equipment to wit
Ye-
your security
yeah,
camera?
yes.
and your
Same
speaker?
objection relative to
Yes.
this particular.
You know, he's not charged with
Your Honor, I'm trying to establish here that he has met a level of due diligence in that he has the most sophisticated equipment in the neighborhood, and that there's testimony he uses it, that he's doing more than any other licensee in the
Well, I think
neighborhood.
that would go, if the event that he's found responsible for any charges, it would go to punishment.
I just wanted a photo of his newly acquired
I'm
speaker
gonna
system.
admit it for the purpose of, in the event.
Okay,
in the
thank you.
event.
And, all right, thank you. And I'll ask that this be admitted for, I won't say sentencing purposes, but for post-hearing purposes, Exhibit 4.
No, it's not gonna be post-hearing.
No, right.
Well, we know what you're talking about.
You
Go
know, I
ahead,
know what
sir.
I don't want to say it. I don't wanna-
We'll let you make a proper
Bring that
admission.
up. Okay. All right, and have you hired a security guard?
Yeah. In the neighborhood. Okay, I'm trying to. He used the security guide.
What is his name?
It's John Davy.
John Davis?
Yes.
All right, how long has he worked for you?
He's not longer. Okay.
Let me, Mr. Vogelman, we weren't here last time, but I told him that the government, in his case, has done something that hurts his bar. It's not our problem. It's his problem, because he has a business in the neighborhood, and we certainly have sympathy that the government has caused this by putting in a $1,700 a day drug treatment place in the 1100 block of West Pratt Street, which is right down the street from his bar, which has inundated the entire area with drug dealers and drug users. We understand that. We understand he's got a problem, but it's his problem. The liquor board's job is to enforce the laws, regardless. In other words, we're not going to tell the state of Maryland or the city of Baltimore to remove their drug distribution center, because we have no power to do it, and yet we recognize the fact that it's causing a problem. But he has to. Remember me telling you that?
I believe he does. He was here. I wasn't here. I think I got it all on
He was here. He probably, maybe he doesn't remember it. But anyway, I told him.
Yes,
So I understand that.
All right, and
I
I
understand
just-
he needs all the things he's gonna have to do. One of the things he did was he said he called the police. And he called the police many times, and it was the police job to remove people off of his premises. And I told him it's not the police department's job to do that. It's, the police department's job is to enforce the 90,000 people they have in each district and the law with respect to their entire community, and not to ensure that bars don't have people hanging out on their front steps and so forth. And that's my position. That's the position of this liquor board. And so he's going to show evidence that he's called the police department. It's not going to get him off the hook. Now, I'm glad to see that he's done things. I'm glad to see he's put up things to tell people, don't hang out front. It's his responsibility to make sure it doesn't happen.
And you gave him a warning.
I
When
did.
you closed him down for 2 weeks, you said, this is a warning. And he is one of the licensees who has come back and heeded your warning.
Yes,
by-
I'm glad to see it. I'm very pleased to hear this. Yeah, so far you're doing pretty good. You only have one charge left.
No,
Let's go.
The devil's in the details. All right. Is there an objection to me putting in?
No, put them all in.
The documents. Okay, thank you. These are 3 photos of the security guard at work. All right, and finally, have you put up signs everywhere indicating that no drug sales, no standing around will be tolerated? Have you put signs up at your business saying that no drug sales will be tolerated? Yes. Mr. Kim, there's a question.
Yes.
Did you put signs up all over your bar?
Yes.
Telling people
Yes.
not to loiter, not to engage in drugs? And I would ask that that come in as Exhibit 5. All right. And when you, well, that charge is gone. Never mind. So, do you want to obey the law? Do you try to obey the law every day?
Come on.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Is there anything that you can do in order to make sure that you stay compliant with laws that you haven't already done?
What I mean?
What's the answer?
The answer was, he shook his head. Could you say yes or no, please?
No.
Okay. Now, Your Honor, I appreciate that you've given extra time here. I would like to have Mr. Kim walk you through a short video regarding what happened or what didn't happen.
Your case, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. No, there's no sound.
How long is the video?
9 minutes.
I don't want to see 9 minutes.
You got coffee?
Mr. Morris does.
Come on, folks, we have another case.
This is the last one, Your Honor. I don't know.
No, we went out of order, sir.
We're
What
totally out
happened
of
at
order.
2521 East Monument Street?
That's the one that was postponed? You asked for the postponement?
That's my client.
Yeah, it's postponed.
February 12th.
Postponement granted?
Oh, okay.
Please.
Let me give it to
Everybody. You're still on the record.
It's all right, I want to be on the record.
I'm just making sure we all talk at the same time. Don't
No.
pause it.
May I show a 9-minute video?
Certainly,
Thank you very much.
let's go.
I just want to know, I want you all to be able to see it.
There's,
I'll just turn the sound off if you want. There's his own sound.
oh, it's his own sound. Okay, I
Yes.
thought it was the exterior.
I'm going to turn that off.
You can talk and tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, come on over here, Mr. Kim.
Yes.
All right, tell the board what this
Why don't you
is.
tell us?
Okay, Mr. Kim, is this a video of your video screen showing the different camera angles from January 12th at 5 o'clock when the chief inspector was in the premises?
Yes. Which one is the chief inspector?
Everybody looking at
Yeah, we're really gonna have to pay attention to one person at a time, because there's a lot of people here, so it's difficult.
not too many people, very quiet at that time. And nobody bothered me. The neighborhood, the three person, okay, that someone, okay, they not talk about, you know. She didn't talk. This is the problem.
She's a deaf.
No,
One at a time.
no.
And then her
Seriously.
and another lady, and then there's neighborhood, cold outside, raining time, there's standing. I mean, all the time, put them out there, leave outside, but come back again. Police came, if I call police coming in, everybody move, they come back. They don't have a house. This is a system of Baltimore City, okay, store, almost, that's mine, this one, that's best one. And the micro, this is a upgrade I did in here. This is a color. And I don't want to care, this is a complaint to, okay, this side, the two camera, one of them, okay, all the time, 36 when, okay, we turn on that, everybody looking. And the street, okay, police coming in, and anybody fighting. That is, inspector came that time, and a drug dealer, I know, okay, his name is Moo. He's not coming to my store all the time. There's some time coming right there. Then it say 2-3 seconds, okay, they talk about that again, came out, there's the leave. Then nobody bothered me. How can I call, okay, 911, 311.
Is Moo the gentleman with the dreadlocks?
They go and they talk, and he know, okay, he's surprised, he don't like me.
Who doesn't like you?
And a drug dealer.
The drug dealer does not like
He
you.
not communicate, he's all the time, cross street, okay, most of the time. He don't
But
like me, I'm saying, hey, don't come in, don't come.
But
This
did
is
I
my
just hear
store.
you say that Moo is the drug dealer? Moo? As in cow? Moo?
He's just, okay,
Is his name Moo?
Is his name
Moo.
Moo?
Moo. I don't
Moo.
care whole name, I didn't know that. They most of the time that they didn't explain the okay, name. If I'm asked, they worry about it. They don't tell me that.
I think it's Moo.
He's tall, okay. He's a big guy. We can touch.
Any commissioners' questions? I think we're on that now.
This is we screen board. Everybody looking at here. I had a iPhone. This one too, but everybody looking at here. Who was selling thing?
You'll see it. So it's just kind of panning.
Then
Any questions?
inspector and chief called them. I heard that.
Tough to,
And everybody moved.
You'll see. It comes a little bit later. It really comes at the probably 5-6 minute mark, somewhere around there.
With your permission, I'll forward.
I don't know where we are right now.
With your permission, do you want me to try to forward to 5 or 6 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't know
Present your best case.
Tom, just watch it, so make sure he don't go past the point.
This is both and a three person. They don't
Sir,
have
can
a
you
house.
hold up just for a minute?
Okay.
please?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it should be coming up right now because this is.
That's name. His name is Mickey. He's a homeless people.
Watch this, Judge.
All right, so if, I don't want to testify, this isn't my piece of evidence, but what we're watching now, this is right here. Remember we
The
talked about?
Caucasian person.
Right, walking in, right there. Now, he walked in, we should back up, there's a guy that's gonna be in dreads. And here, Sheldon, sorry, Chief Inspector.
Can I explain?
the actual drug dealer who had the dreads walked in prior to the Caucasian male walking in behind him.
You missed that.
You missed that point of it, but he actually goes up into this corner, and the Caucasian male stops somewhere along here, and then the drug dealer directs him to go back outside. But we don't.
So another exiting.
That's when the drug dealer is looking back at me. That's the drug dealer right there. We talking to each other. He stands at the door. We're talking to each other, and then he leaves out, and everybody else clears out right behind him because I make everybody else leave. But you don't see, from the way he shot the video, all the other camera screens of what actually is going on in the other parts of the bar. Like, you don't see this upper corner. You don't see where I'm at. You don't see me talking to them. And it's clear from where he's moving, he's only showing what he wants us to see.
Objection.
So this is video of the video?
Yes.
And this is video that was prepared to present to us?
Thank you.
Today, right?
Yes, yes, my client shot this off his screen, and he did it right before, there's a 10-day tape over, exactly. And so this is all that now remains of this video, unfortunately. So I know it's not perfect evidence by any stretch of the imagination, but well, we're not closing yet, so let me should I continue examining my client?
Yeah.
And then yeah, okay. All right, so Mr. Kim, did you film this off your security system? Did you tape it off your security system? Let me try this one more time. Did you make a movie of the video?
Oh yeah, just like iPhone, I put them in a record because I'm used to be USB put them in there. My minister and my minister. Okay, this is a whole thing. It's a camera. Is two of them. Two of them. Okay, everything. Not that and a four. Okay, that was inside. One corner is okay. That is him. He's okay at that one corner. There's nobody. This is that at the lady corner is there. And drug dealer is just coming right here. He's going outside. And door side, they looking at inspector. And they want to say he's 3-4 seconds coming inside, go outside. And he listened to he wasn't okay that time, and everybody leave. He wasn't outside. Everybody.
All right. Did you leave out video showing a drug deal?
I didn't know. Okay, video. I look in a video. Okay, at that time that he's moved.
How many times did you look at the video?
I'm all the time.
Okay. Did you see anything that looked like drug dealing?
No.
Okay. And when Inspector Jones, when Inspector Jones was inside your store, do these capture the screens, or do these photos capture what is outside the store?
Objection.
In another store outside.
Looks like random.
That wasn't all
I'm
true.
gonna let it in.
Okay. And I'd ask for the admission of the photos of January 12, 2015 of loiterers outside.
His store?
I didn't say that. And
Where are they outside?
they're across the street in front of the opposite side saloon during the time that the chief inspector is inside the B&O.
I'll let it in.
Thank you.
Hey, Drew.
All right, and I'm going to wrap this up. All right, and finally, are you willing to continue to be diligent to fight crime in your neighborhood and make sure that your place is compliant with all laws? All right, I have nothing further this witness.
Okay, with respect to responsibility only, first of all, let me say that I'm going to tell the chief inspector I want him to keep an eye on this bar and the bar across the street. I'm telling him right now publicly, to observe any hanging around the front, like that picture you showed me, shows across the street, loitering, which is illegal. And I realize the problems in the neighborhood, and I realize the bar owners have more problems than other bar owners have because of it. He's going to have to be extra diligent. Now, he knows the name of this drug dealer, and obviously he probably recognizes others too. And we're not going to have it. Now, with respect to punishment.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yeah.
just a couple community members are here before
I'll be
punishment.
glad to hear from him.
Okay.
Come on down. Have you been sworn?
Yes, we swore in when we were seated
Okay,
back
and
there.
your name?
My name is Mary Ellen Cahill.
And we're glad to hear from you.
Okay. I've lived in the community for 25 years. I work near the bar. I don't feel safe, actually.
You work what?
I work near the bar. I drive up and I see what's going on from 7:30 in the morning until 6 in the evening. And I can tell you that there is loitering at all times. And this hasn't just gone on since this drug program this has been a problem for years. It's like a free-for-all at this corner. It's a free-for-all at this corner. It's party central. And it's dangerous. And this gentleman who runs his establishment, I'm sure I think he has tried to be diligent. But this is a situation that I don't know can be kept under control. I really do not believe it can. I am very annoyed that you mentioned my name and any association that I had. I spoke to you last night and told you about my concerns about safety, and you were very sympathetic and manipulative, may I say. And, you know, because this is not safe, okay? This has gone on for years. And it is constant. There's a city police camera there. They have not been able to control anything. And it's ridiculous. You call 311, they tell you you're supposed to call 911. It just goes back and forth. And this board seems to be sympathetic. And is reasonable, I think.
Objection, I have one thing to say.
No.
Absolutely.
I'm not attacking the owners of this establishment. I am just appealing to you to understand what this situation is.
What do you want us
With
to do?
both of these corner bars.
What do you want us to do?
I want them gone. We have a charter school down the street. Children, I just got Carey Street completely cleaned. The sanitation is working with us. This is a nightmare. And I just, I'm out there now, so I'm just gonna, and I feel badly about this. I really do. And there are a lot of wonderful people, I'm sure, that go to that establishment. But it is a hangout for drug people. It's a hangout, we had people going in the bar and then living in the bus stop. And then going into the bar. And, it took me months to get the bus stop cleaned up 2 years ago. It's like a full-time job. So, I'm sorry if I'm being heated about this, but enough is enough.
Okay, ma'am?
Yes, thank you. My name is Maria Moses. I'm a big crime watch. And yes, I'm very, very experienced, and I go behind the gangs and the drug dealers and juvenile delinquents daily. And I do have cameras, very sophisticated cameras. I go sometimes in that bar because a lot of them have warrants. I know all of them, all the players. I know all the addicts. And this is a nuisance bar. It's an open market, inside and outside.
For how long?
For a long time. With all due respect, it's a joke. Both sides. And it's affecting the community. It's affecting the homeowners. I'm in Montclair. And it's a disgrace. It should have been shut down a long time ago. And with all due respect to my police, good-up police officers, they're not doing anything either. And everybody can tell you you can check with me. I'm Maria Moses, very experienced. And I still go to court. I still go, I've been shot in shot trauma many times. I'm still here, and God's going to still protect me. But I'm very, very experienced, so I do have the experience there. And like I said, I've seen even testers. You know what testers is? Inside. Transactions inside. And like I said, I know all the addicts, all the players. So I'm one of the ones that can tell you that. And I can, you know, if you take me over there, I can tell who's who.
Chief, are you hearing this?
Oh, yes.
I hear it, I know.
Yes, it's, and as the Montclair, we're requesting, and we would be very grateful to help us out, because this is a nuisance, and it's not gonna change. It needs to be shut down, both places, if you ask me, sir, with my experience. Yes, sir, it's my pleasure.
Your name, ma'am?
Jane Bucheri, from Holland's Roundhouse. Both bars are a nuisance, and there is loitering in both places, and the camera can catch at 5 o'clock, but you know as well as I do, if they know the inspector's in there, they just go across the street. You know, it's the same as the drug dealers. When they hear the call that the police are responding to this point, they move. So both those bars have been a problem. There's loitering. We do COP walks on a regular basis. When we go by that corner, there's loitering in both corners. The community refers that the two bars are located on the intersection of Pratt and Cary. We call Cary Scary because it's South Cary, and in the neighborhood it's called Scary Street, just for that reason, because you don't feel safe going up and down Cary Street. And again, there is the Southwest Charter School. And the reason there's not a lot of 311 calls is because we dial 911. We've been told by our major to dial 911. And we do have an officer here from the Community Services Unit who can tell you how many 911 calls have been made to that establishment, both for disorderly conduct and narcotics.
Now, is the officer here, you said?
Yes, he is. Officer Ward.
Well, let's get him.
Right. And the reason that, the reason there is a police camera there, they can't see their bar because the trees are blocking the camera. They have actually come to the community to ask us if it's okay if they have the trees cut down so that they can monitor the activity.
Cut down a tree.
Well, that's how bad the corner is, that we actually want to cut
Can't you
down
cut the branch
trees.
off? It's good.
It's the way the camera is, it's the height of the tree.
Change again. Jane, you know, I love trees.
I know, well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's ironic because we have a whole program to green the city, yet we're being asked to cut down trees so that they can monitor the criminal activity.
Well, you know, Jane, we have these organizations doing the youth too that you're so active in, something partnership. They're doing nothing about these things.
Who's here from Kangaroo?
I hear nothing.
Well, we are. I mean, I wouldn't say we're
I'm in
not-
that community. I hear absolutely zero from that community, that group.
I wouldn't say we're not doing anything. I think we have worked with Sutherland District on a regular basis on what our problems are. We meet with the major every month before the Southern District Community Relations.
Yeah, but they haven't been doing anything about these two bars across the street from each other.
I think we, I think we have. I think we've been working with the police, not, you know, telling them where the problems are. The police are trying to do as best they can, but as you know, that neighborhood has so many hot spots.
Yes, well, part of it's brought by the government. When all these, they tore down the Murphy homes, they relocated everybody in the neighborhood.
Right.
And
And University of Maryland, when they moved over, that was a huge change to the neighborhood.
was supposed to be.
No, huge bad change
Oh.
when they moved the methadone clinic over.
Oh,
to-
yes, I mean,
To be
it's
next to the
1100
BBH.
block. Terrible.
Absolutely. That
Absolutely,
has
disgrace.
had a dramatic, impact on the neighborhood.
All right, officer, your name, please. You've been sworn?
No, sir.
Swear the witness.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Officer Kevin Vaught, Baltimore City Police, Southern District, on Neighborhood Services. I brought with me the record of calls, 911 calls. These start on January the 2nd, 2014, and end as of yesterday. There's 89 calls. And the bulk of those calls are bulk of the calls are disorderlies.
I'm going to object respectfully. This is, I think, punishment phase, and this is new to me, the format, but this is punishment phase. So if it was a letter from the community or something to that effect, I would understand that. But now we're going to get into facts or disputed facts, and I'd have to cross-examine them, and I don't want to cross-examine anybody in a punishment phase. So I'd object.
You can ask a question. Go ahead, finish your testimony, sir.
Basically, there's mostly all disorderly conduct calls.
Well, where are the calls coming from?
911.
I know, but who?
I don't have that, Your Honor. The only thing I
How do
have
you know
is
it's
the
that
record.
location?
because it's for 1301 West Pratt. I'm sorry.
Is that B.O.?
Yes, sir.
You notice the sign says B.O., not B and O. Previous owners were named B and O. It didn't have anything to do with it being over. I give up. Nobody listens to me. But, so you think they're calling about that location? Yes, it's 1301 West Pratt Street. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Started when you were chairman. How come you didn't do anything about it?
I was only here for 3 months in 2014.
My Lord.
Now remember though, Your Honor,
I'm looking at your area.
The board,
when you were chairman.
Right, but the board, remember, the board already imposed sentence on this licensee back in October. So everything from October on, I mean, the board's already heard about what's happening.
Here's the problem I'm having, I'll be honest with you.
Can I just be heard really quickly?
Yes.
Obviously, you get the last word. Yeah. Thank you, Your Honor. These licensees have done everything they possibly can.
Well, that's the problem I'm having. But here's,
continue to be diligent.
let me
I just want
address
to put
that.
in a letter, Your Honor, from K-Bro, the Korean American Grocers Association, indicating that they're members in good standing, and some of them are here today to support the license. Thank you very much.
I'm good.
Go ahead, anything else?
No, Your Honor, I just want to say, they'll continue to be diligent, and Ms. Cahill, she left, but what I wanted to, the first thing I wanted to recommend is that Mr. Kim give his phone number to anyone who lives in the neighborhood who has eyes and sees something, because no matter how good a security system is, no matter how diligent he is, communication is everything. Just ask the police department, just ask the inspectors. You know, if you've got more than one person keeping an eye out on a place, it's a lot easier to identify the trouble and to solve the problem.
He wants to stay in business.
Yes, sir.
He's going to have to spend the money to complain to the liquor board, and also to eliminate the people on the outside of the bar and the drug dealing. And you have to make sure that the liquor board and the police department pay attention to the bar across the street. We've gotten into it. We're doing something about it. And she knows, Jane knows, we're doing what we can. But we're not miracles. The bar owners have to comply, or we're going to close them for good. It's as simple as that. That means we're going to take the license away for good. You think I can't do that?
I absolutely know that you can do that, Your Honor. And all I'm saying is, if we had a consortium, if you had 3 or 4 of these bars that could share the cost of security.
No, these two are famous. These two.
Even if we had
they
two.
They walk from his bar right across the street, and when they raid the one across the street, they walk right back over to his bar. And I'm ignoring the things that I've heard about it, because it's not in the testimony and it's not in the evidence. But I'm ready for disposition now. Do you have anything further you wish to say?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. I'm torn in this case between closing the bar entirely and leaving them open, or giving them another modified closure to warn them about what's going to happen. And the reason I have these combinations of feelings is because I do think, to some extent, he is trying to stay in business and clean up his side of the street. And I realize if we don't clean up the other side of the street, we're not going to get anywhere. So the chief is listening to me. He knows how I feel about this, the chief inspector and the officer. Now, officer, I know you're in the community service, and I know all these officers of the police department that go around to all these community meetings and so forth. But it'd be nice if you lock somebody up once in a while over at that bar, instead of just going to listen to Jane and all the rest of them at the...
Your Honor, I've partaken in several raids in both the bars across the street there. I was taken out of CID many years ago. I've got 34 years on the department. And that corner...
Do we know each other?
I'm sure we do.
I think so.
I think I've been past your house a few times.
Yeah.
You better tell me your nickname.
They call me Butterbean, sir. Anyway, the area is just historic for issues. Here's my card. We've been in and out, and these bars have always been a sore spot for us.
Yes, they have.
We have a tri-district area squad. That's all they work, is that area. Okay, they've had many run-ins there. It's just like ants drawing the candy. You know, they just run to it.
All right, now, Chief, right here is our chief, and we know that we have certain problems with respect to drugs and so forth, identifications. We're working on that, so that our inspectors will get the authority they need to act. But you could, if you would cooperate with him and talk to him about this.
Absolutely.
You have the attention of my fellow commissioners, believe me.
Okay.
What is the name of the bar across the street?
The Opposite Side Cafe.
It's called the Opposite Side
Right.
Cafe. They've not been in front of us. If all these violations are going on, there are all these problems at the opposite bar.
They're
I'm really wondering why we aren't seeing them.
They're mainly loitering outside.
We would like to hear about
The
that.
Other thing, they have a vestibule. You walk into that vestibule, and you're served through a spinning window, and you're back out the door. There's only room in the door for about 3 or 4 people. The rest of it is blocked off. And if they don't know who you are, you're not getting in that door. And they run a pretty tight ship over there.
If there's loitering, and it sounds like the neighborhood says that there is, that the combination of the two bars is, a problem, I would expect that we would see something from the Opposite Side Bar,
Right.
Opposite Side Cafe, at some point, if indeed they're a problem. That's all I have to say at this point.
And I did point out to the board in our reconsideration request of October, I took several photos of the Opposite Side Saloon and submitted them to this board, showing extensive loitering. And Your Honor, look, my client will continue to be vigilant. He will do his part.
The other thing I wanted to say, and I remember this distinctly, when we were imposing the penalty when you were here, I guess in August, you begged us to be lenient. You begged us. You darn near cried. And it was really compelling. And you said you didn't have any money, you couldn't afford to be closed, you couldn't. And since then, you've somehow found plenty of dollars to buy the security and the sound equipment. And so I'm sitting here thinking, I don't really know what's going on here. It doesn't seem right, the way that you begged and pleaded with us.
And we were all persuaded by that act that you put on. I'll wait and hear what His Honor has to say, but it is.
I'm listening to you.
It is not fair, and it is not acceptable for anybody to have to live the way these witnesses say they have to live. It is not fair. It is not right. And it's the responsibility of you to make sure that it doesn't happen. And when it does happen, I believe that it is the responsibility of the liquor board to impose the law, because the law says people don't have to live like that. Your conducting business does not mean that these folks don't get to sleep, they don't get to live, they don't get to walk their streets. It's not the way it's supposed to work. And I appreciate that you've spent a lot of money to buy the cameras, and I will say that the video was extremely selective, and I'm offended by that. I am offended by that. The photographs of the videos that were produced, they were marked as exhibit number 3. They show 13 screens, 13 TV screens of video that you spent $8,000 to purchase. The video of the video showed at most 4 screens. So you better believe that I believe that there was great manipulation in what was shown to us. I personally, and you know, former Chairman Fogelman, I did dissent the last time. I did believe that drug transactions were going on. I do believe that he observed drug transactions going on. Yeah, he didn't seize it. It wasn't tested, but he was qualified as an expert. He is able to give opinion testimony. I think that we all believe that a drug transaction took place. Even the owner believes it. The owner believes it. He knows the drug dealer. He's known to him. He comes in. There is no question but that a drug transaction took place. But for a slight failing of evidence, that charge has been dismissed. But it is not dismissed in the lives of these people who live near that bar. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And there's something going on in the audience when I don't know whether it was a member of KGRO or just one of your supporters or what, was asked to come up and translate, and his lawyer told him to stay seated and not translate on another case. As soon as that drug charge was, I'm just telling you, you don't know about it because your back is turned. As soon as the drug charge was dismissed, they laughed and they got up and left. I'm watching everything that goes in this room. I take all of this really seriously. I watch everything, and people who are watching on TV should know, if you come down here, I'm watching. I'm looking at everything because it all matters. It all matters. I mean, we take this job seriously. I've never done anything like this. I didn't ask for this job. I took it. I agreed to do it, and you know, Steve, it's hard work. It's really hard work, and we do miss things, and we don't always get it right, but we try really, really, really hard. And it is so sad. The saddest part of this job is when people come here crying because they're going to lose their business. That's very, very sad. But it's even sadder when people cry because they just can't live. They simply can't live because there's a bar or a liquor establishment or drunk college kids tromping on the curves. That is just wrong. It's just wrong. It's easy to stop. It has to stop. It must stop. I'm ready to close the place. I really am. Because it's not fair to the people that live nearby. We want more out of our lives. The mayor says that she wants Baltimore to grow in the number of people that live here, the people that come. Nobody's coming here. No one's going to come here if they have to live by a bar where there's ongoing, active, open, in-your-face drug transactions. It ain't going to happen. People aren't going to stay. People are going to flee. People aren't going to come if they have to live next door to a college bar and they can't sleep. They can't get out of their steps in the morning because they have to pour off, wash off vomit and urine. What is this? We're better than that. This city is far better than that. So I'm dumping all this out there. It's not, you don't own all of this. You don't, and thank you for listening. But what these people are saying is, please help us. And I'm hearing them.
Can I say one thing?
No.
No,
you
you don't need
cannot.
to say anything at all.
End of lecture.
Well, you know, that was a good lecture to be given, but I'm in agreement because I wouldn't want to live next door to the two bars that are located on that street. And I'm sad. I'm very sad today because we only have one part of the problem before us. Let us get the other side before us. The officer said the other place they run a tight shop. He let them come in and they go out. Well, the shop isn't that tight based on the video I saw. And if I can see it, then the officer can see it.
Right.
We need to take the approach that if there's a problem, all the elements involved need to be equally responsible for that privilege they have to have a license in their possession, not just to one side. If we can only get one side, then let's take care of that one side until we get the other side. I see where you have made some attempts to ratify the situation there. You found that $8,000 to find that camera. That's not enough. Just like you found that $8,000, you better look for other ways to try to resolve that. Don't talk, just listen. You need to look in other avenues to try to find ways to resolve. Get them off your side, keep them off of your side, and let us deal with the one side across the street. I don't want these people coming before me again telling me that they can't walk down the street to get to their house. They have to be selective in the time that they need to walk the street, whether it be 5 o'clock during the busy hour. I want you to be law-abiding at 5 o'clock during the busy hour. 12 o'clock midday, 6 o'clock in the morning when you open. I want you to be law-abiding at all times. It's just not fair, and I refuse to sit here and let it be fair.
Last thing I want to say is our inspectors left. Our inspectors are not here. You're the chief inspector. It is a joke to me that something can be so open and notorious and obvious. All you have to do is go over there and look, and you will see that there are violations going on. And I expect our inspectors to go over there and look and see and make a report. I think it's outrageous. That is all they have to do. And you talk about selective and we're not looking at other places in the Baltimore Sun. It's a big job. There's a lot to do. And they're trying to do it. But we have absolutely no credibility when there's something so open and so notorious and so obvious, and all you have to do is drive by and look at it and write a report, and it's not happening. They don't even have to get out of their car. They just have to walk over there. You know, I've considered walking over. Y'all gave me a badge. You know, everybody laughs at my badge. I mean, it probably wouldn't do me any good, but it's like, I'll do it. Because people need to live better. People need to live better. And our inspectors, they come in and they go, and they need to hear this, and you need to tell them that Commissioner Moore is pretty angry.
All right, do you want to make any recommendation?
I strongly recommend that this place be closed for, last time we did 2 weeks. This time I say 6 weeks. I would impose
Only have one charge left.
we have one charge.
I thought we had two, the public welfare and the illegal conduct.
No, the charges, charge left that I'm dismissing all but 4.18, which is violation of rule, illegal conduct. And I'm basing that on the remarks that I've already made with respect to obvious drug dealing in the area and activity which would appear to be illegal to any licensed operator of a bar who is responsible for the activities of the customers inside their bar. And he's got to do what he has to do to prevent this type of charge from coming. We've had this before, I've said it before on the record, and that's been our decision.
And
We're gonna have to go to another step to be able to show that the drugs are actually so shown by a laboratory. This is a community organization that's enforcing the law. So therefore, with respect to Rule 4.18, what you said?
6 weeks and a $2,000 fine.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
And no stay.
Yes, the position of this board has been that stay should not be granted. Our decisions are presumed correct under state law, and I would hope that I'm afraid her television's turned off, but our attorney who watches these programs would in the event of an appeal, would bring this to the attention of the Circuit Court of Baltimore City, where these appeals are heard by a judge and not a jury. How much time do you need to pay it?
60 days, Your Honor.
60 days you have. All right, that's my decision.
Thank you.
We have our decision, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I'd just like to say to you, Mr. Boatman, I understand your client's problem. But you have to help too, at the bar crossing the street, and get this corner straightened out so the liquor board gets off his back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You understand?
Thank you.
All right, folks, put this in there.
All right.
And we'll stand adjourned.
It's heartbreaking.
Thank you, folks.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. And you know, he begged and he cried, and he said he had no money, and he has spent at least $15,000, and that's all goes to me for credibility. And I'm glad he did it, but you gotta have secrets. And you tell those inspectors that I am so angry. I'm ready to curse. I am ready to curse. And if they can't do the job, if they're not gonna do the job, sorry.
Yeah, I do.